Chapter 778. Li Chueying's face darkened. Yinner, what do you mean by this? You treat your eldest uncle and second uncle as human beings, but the old Zhao family doesn't? Zhao Yinner spat. Second aunt, don't talk to me about this. My eldest uncle and second uncle came all the way here and are considered guests. That's why we entertain them. We only live in the same courtyard. Do we still need to entertain them? Zhao Yinner, you. Li Chueying glared at Zhao Yinner angrily. This girl's glib tongue was better than anyone else's. She couldn't even out-talk her. Zhao Yinner smirked. Second aunt, if you're a glutton, just say so. Don't beat around the bush. Li Chueying blushed after being exposed by Zhao Yinner. Well done, Yinner, you've grown up. Who are you closer to when you're siding with an outsider? You're sucking up to your mother's relatives. With that, Li Chueying stormed off in a huff. Zhao Yinner thought it was hilarious. Actually, Zhao Yinner didn't like her father's relatives or her mother's relatives. After all, they weren't good people. She didn't know why all the relatives she met were freaking weirdos. There weren't many good people among them. Was it because of her relatives, or were there too many bad people in this era? On the other end, Zhao Ping eagerly ran towards Zhao Yinner's house. When she arrived at Zhao Yinner's house, Mu Yinfeng was lying on the bed. Mu Yinfeng's eyes were closed. He seemed to be asleep. Zhao Pinger leaned over and glanced at Mu Yinfeng. She couldn't help but sigh. This heir presumptive was indeed good-looking. It was much more beautiful than Qin Yuan. She didn't know where Zhao Yin got her luck from to be able to catch the eye of the crown prince. Then he thought about her. A surge of jealousy rose in his heart. When Zhao Ping leaned over to pat Mu Yinfeng's eyes suddenly opened. When he saw Zhao Ping's face, he frowned slightly for a moment. Then he lifted his leg and sent Zhao Ping flying. Ouch! Zhao Ping screamed again. She had been taught a lesson by Yi Li in the morning and had not yet recovered from her injuries. She did not expect that Mu Yinfeng would attack her again. Zhao Ping gritted her teeth and looked at Mu Yinfeng with an aggrieved expression. Mu Yinfeng's cold words drifted into Zhao Ping's ears. What are you doing here? Sob, sob, sob. Heir presumptive, I'm here to call you for dinner. I was just trying to wake you up. I didn't expect that before I could do it, I would be sent flying by your kick. Heir presumptive, you're really ruthless. Looking at Zhao Ping's aggrieved expression, Mu Yinfeng felt a little awkward. However, he didn't feel sorry for Zhao Ping. Since you're here to call me for dinner, why are you still acting so sneakily? Mu Yinfeng said this to find an excuse for his actions. He was saying that Zhao Ping deserved to be kicked by him. Sob, sob, sob. Heir presumptive, I'm not acting sneakily. I just saw that you were asleep. That's enough. Mu Yinfeng glanced coldly at Zhao Ping. Since you're here to call me for dinner, let's go. Zhao Ping was still lying on the ground and did not get up. Seeing that Mu Yinfeng was about to leave, she shouted at Mu Yinfeng. Heir presumptive, you kicked me too hard. I can't get up. Can you give me a hand? Chapter 779. There was a trace of disgust in his eyes. How could he pull her away? Other than Zhao Yin'er, he didn't want to touch any other woman. Even if Zhao Ping was Zhao Yin'er's biological sister and was so ugly that she was no threat to Zhao Yin'er, he still couldn't do that. Then you should lie down first. You can get up when you have the strength. I'll go over first. Mu Yinfeng walked forward, as if he had abandoned Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping pursed her lips in grievance. She could get up on her own. What was the big deal? She didn't want to waste time lying down here. Otherwise, all the good dishes at home would be eaten up, and she wouldn't be able to eat anymore. Thus, Zhao Ping quickly got up and followed behind Mu Yinfeng. Lord Heir, speak frankly. Sigh, there's something about Yin. I don't know if I should say it. I'm afraid you'll be angry if I say it. But if I don't say it, I'll think that my sister is too much. How could she do such a thing? Mu Yinfeng paused in his steps, as if he had heard Zhao Ping's words. Zhao Ping hurriedly continued. Sigh, Zhao Ping is really... Lord Heir, you're such a good person, but she doesn't know how to cherish you. Who does she think she is? Mu Yinfeng frowned slightly and said to Zhao Ping with some displeasure. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't stutter and hesitate. Zhao Ping was delighted. It seemed that Mu Yinfeng was really interested in this matter. Sigh. Lord Heir, you don't know. Zhao Yun is with you now, but she's hooking up with another man behind your back. There was a very handsome man who came to eat breakfast every day at her breakfast stall. Zhao Yun'er clearly knew that he liked her, but she still flirted with that man all day long. They were very intimate. I really can't take it anymore. How could she be like this? Isn't it enough that she has you? How could he hook up with the flowers and plants outside? Sigh. He was really thinking about what was in the pot while eating from the bowl. Shitzi, although she is my younger sister, you are such a good person. I have to remind you, lest you be deceived and still don't know. It's best not to have a woman like Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Ping rambled on and told Mu Yinfeng about how Yi Li persevered and came over every day. Mu Yinfeng's eyes darkened and his face turned terrifyingly cold. It wasn't because he believed Zhao Ping's words. He knew how Zhao Yun'er treated him. His life was saved by Zhao Yun'er, and he had 100% trust in Zhao Yun'er. However, if Zhao Ping wasn't lying, then there should be a very handsome man who was pursuing his Yun'er. Didn't that mean that he had a love rival? If it was an ordinary man, then so be it. But the man that Zhao Ping was talking about was very handsome. Even his appearance didn't lose to hers. He felt threatened by such a strong opponent. He would never allow Zhao Yun'er to be snatched away by a man like this. Chapter 780. Sneak a peek? He was not a homewrecker. Why should he sneak a peek? When the time came, he would go over openly. He wanted to know which man had the guts to snatch his woman. When Zhao Ping saw Mu Yinfeng's reaction, she gritted her teeth and felt even more smug. Great. Zhao Yun'er, that be asterisk tch, just wait and see. It would be great if she was abandoned by the heir of the crown prince. Mu Yinfeng could not be bothered to look at Zhao Ping and quickened his steps. When they arrived at the third branch and Mu Yinfeng came over, Zhao Ye brought over the dishes that she had prepared for lunch and asked her eldest uncle and second uncle to eat together. Zhao Wenhua did not introduce Mu Yinfeng's identity. Otherwise, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui would not dare to sit at the table and eat. After all, Mu Yinfeng's identity was there. Ordinary people would not dare to sit at the same table as the heir of the crown prince. When he found out about Mu Yinfeng's identity, he was also trembling with fear and did not dare to face Mu Yinfeng at all. Naturally, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were the same. However, although they did not mention Mu Yinfeng's identity, Mu Yinfeng's appearance and temperament made people know that his identity was not simple. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were full of respect for Mu Yinfeng. They originally looked down on Zhao Yun'er's family, but instantly became enthusiastic. After eating, they praised Zhao Yun'er from time to time. When Zhao Yun'er heard her eldest uncle and second uncle's praises, she laughed it off. Such snobbish words were good to hear. There was no need to take them seriously. Sure enough, many people were like this. They fawned over the rich and looked down on the poor. At the dining table, Zhao Yun'er noticed that Mu Yinfeng's expression didn't seem too good. He only focused on eating and didn't eat much. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but have some doubts in her heart. What is wrong with this guy? He was fine, but he seemed to be angry. Why was he angry? Was he angry with her? Zhao Yun'er bit her chopsticks as she ate. If it weren't for the fact that there were other people around, she would have pulled Mu Yinfeng aside and asked him what was going on. Zhao Ping glanced at Mu Yinfeng's reaction and felt a burst of joy in her heart. If Mu Yinfeng was so angry, Zhao Yun'er would definitely not have a good time. Isn't this a lobster? Yun'er can actually make such delicious food. Too amazing. Liang Jinshun praised. This time, he wasn't just trying to curry favor. He really felt that way. It wasn't that they hadn't seen crayfish before, but they couldn't think of anyone who could cook crayfish to such an extent. Zhao Yun'er was the first. Liang Jinhui also praised him. That's right. Not only is the crayfish delicious, but the pig's offal is also very delicious. Zhao Yun'er sneered and said to Liang Jinhui, "Second uncle, if I remember correctly, you said not long ago that I used pig's offal to send beggars away. You even said that no matter how poor I was, I wouldn't fall to the point of eating pig's offal. Now you've changed your mind. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, Liang Jinhui felt a burning pain on his face. This, didn't I not eat just now? So I didn't know how it tasted. Now that I've eaten it, it feels pretty good. Haha, Zhao Yun'er laughed. There was a hint of mockery in her laughter. Liang Jinhui's words were a slap to his own face. He looked at the pigs offal on the table and wanted to eat it, but was too embarrassed to move his chopsticks. Chapter 781. Why did she feel like apart from Mu Lianfeng's anger, there was also a strong smell of vinegar in the air? Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but take a few more glances at Mu Lianfeng. Then, she picked up a lobster and placed it in Mu Lianfeng's bowl. She then said to Mu Lianfeng, "Why aren't you eating? This lobster is delicious. You didn't eat it yesterday. Have a taste today." Mu Lianfeng glanced at the lobster, then looked at Zhao Yun. Seeing Mu Lianfeng's slightly pouty mouth, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong, Mu Lianfeng?" The way he looked at her just now was completely like that of a resentful wife. Zhao Yun'er's heart trembled. This guy, what was he trying to do? Daodu, who was next to Mu Lianfeng, said softly, "Daddy, Mommy is right. It's delicious. Daodu, peel it for Daddy." With that, Daodu's little hand directly pinched the shell of the lobster's tail. He peeled the meat out, dipped in the sauce, and brought it to Mu Lianfeng's mouth. "Daddy, eat it." When Mu Lianfeng looked at Daodu, his gaze became much gentler. He opened his mouth and ate the lobster that Daodu brought over. Daodu looked at Mu Lianfeng expectantly and asked Mu Lianfeng, "Daddy, how is it? Does it taste good?" Mu Lianfeng chewed it. It was spicy, fresh, and very flavorful. "It's delicious," Mu Lianfeng replied, the corners of his mouth rising slightly. "Daddy, if it's delicious, eat more. Daodu will peel it for you," Daodu said softly. Seeing how considerate and sensible Daodu was, Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun were very happy. Who wouldn't like a sensible son? Daodu can eat it. Daddy can peel it himself. "Father, let's let Daodu do it. You're definitely not as good as Daodu," Daodu insisted. "And there's a lot of oil. Daodu's hands are already dirty. There's no need for Daodu's hands to get dirty." Mu Lianfeng nodded as he looked at Lil P's tender face that was like a porcelain doll. "All right then, let Lil P peel it." His son wanted to be filial to him, so he couldn't not give him chance. Yeah. As Daodu spoke, she picked up a lot of lobsters and put them into her bowl. Then, she started to peel them for Mu Lianfeng. It was much easier for Daodu's small hands to peel the lobster's shell than it was for someone else to do it. Not long after, the meat on the lobster's tail was peeled off again. When he peeled the third lobster, Daodu's hand accidentally slipped, and a few drops of the sauce on the lobster splashed onto Liang Jinxuan's face. Even his originally clean clothes had become somewhat dirty. Liang Jinxuan frowned, and his face was full of displeasure. When he saw Daodu, he glared fiercely at Daodu, just like before, and scolded, "You little bastard, did you do it on purpose?" As soon as he said that, he saw Mu Lianfeng's sharp eyes looking at him with a chill. I. After being glared at, Liang Jinxuan immediately stuttered. "I was just excited for a moment, so I said this kind of words. I forgot that Zhao Yun'er is now different from before." Wasn't he offending someone by saying that about Daodu? Zhao Yun'er's face darkened. She was very displeased. "Uncle, Daodu isn't a little bastard. He has a father. Please clarify this now." Zhao Yun'er warned coldly. Liang Jinxiao also hurriedly said, "Big brother, Daodu has a father. It's this." Chapter 782. Liang Jinxiao understood what Zhao Wenwen meant. It was best not to reveal Mu Lianfeng's identity to her two older brothers for the time being. "It's this young master." Liang Jinxiao paused for a moment before saying. Liang Jinxuan looked at Mu Lianfeng and sighed inwardly. This was actually Daodu's father. Who would have thought that Zhao Yun'er was pregnant with this man's child before marriage? This meant that not only was Daodu not a little bastard, but he also had an extraordinary identity. At the very least, he was the young master of a wealthy family. Liang Jinxuan hurriedly said, It was a slip of the tongue. Daodu is a sensible and obedient child. He's really likable. Isn't that so? Daodu, this child is so cute." I'm afraid you won't be able to find a child as good-looking as Dowdu within a few dozen miles of this area. Liang Jinhui also hurriedly chimed in. Although they spoke casually, their foreheads were covered in a layer of cold sweat. If they offended Mu Lianfeng, they already knew the consequences even if Mu Lianfeng didn't say anything. They would definitely not have a good life. Mu Lianfeng knew that these two people were Zhao Yun'er's first and second uncles. For the sake of Zhao Yun'er's relatives, he didn't want to fall out with them. He only warned them coldly, "I don't want to hear this kind of words a second time." Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui hurriedly replied, "Yes, yes, yes, we definitely won't." They didn't have the guts to say anything else. Mu Lianfeng's gaze was as if he could eat them up. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but want to laugh when she saw her two uncles' cowardly expressions. How interesting. After that, the atmosphere at the dining table became a little gloomy. After Mu Lianfeng lost his temper, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui didn't dare to say a word. They just lowered their heads and ate. The happiest person at the dining table was Dowdu. There was a pile of lobster shells on the table in front of him. Other than peeling them for Mu Lianfeng, he also ate a lot for himself. However, because he ate a lot, Dowdu's little mouth was covered in grease and dirty. After Dowdu finished eating, Zhao Yun'er hurriedly took out a handkerchief and gently wiped Dowdu's mouth. "Mother, Dowdu likes to eat lobster. Can you make it for Dowdu tomorrow?" Dowdu looked as if he hadn't had enough. Seeing how the child still felt that it wasn't enough after eating so much, she couldn't help but admire Dowdu's battle prowess. How could such a small child eat so much? Zhao Yun'er smiled. "Of course you can. Tomorrow, you and your uncle will go catch more, and Mother will cook for you." Yeah. Mu Lianfeng also elegantly picked up a handkerchief and wiped his mouth. Even the action of wiping his mouth was unusually elegant. This handsome appearance somewhat blinded Zhao Yun'er's eyes. Mu Lianfeng noticed that Zhao Yun'er was staring at him intently and raised his good-looking eyebrows. Zhao Yun'er's ears turned red, and she hurriedly looked away. She was already so old, but she was almost head-on. She felt a little embarrassed. "Let's go if you're full." Mu Lianfeng's pleasant voice sounded. Zhao Yun'er responded. Since she was full, it was time to leave. Her two uncles had her parents, so they didn't need her to serve them. Yeah, as they spoke, the two of them each took one side, holding Dowdu's hand and prepared to leave. "Big brother, second brother, why don't you guys sit for a while? Rest for a while before leaving?" Liang Jinxiao said to Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui. "Yeah, then let's rest for a while." Liang Jinshun responded. Liang Jinhui poked Liang Jinshun's arm as if he had something to say. Chapter 783. Liang Jinxiao hurriedly asked, "What's the matter? Big brother? What's the matter?" Liang Jinshun cleared his throat and coughed. He said awkwardly, Eldest sister, the gift money I gave you just now was a little too little, so I have to make up for it. But I didn't bring that much money today. When your second brother and I go back, we'll send it over when we have time." Being treated like this by Zhao Yun'er's family, coupled with the fact that Zhao Yun'er's family's current situation was not what it used to be, 20 copper coins would have been fine. But now, he felt that if he gave her 20 copper coins, Zhao Yun'er's family would definitely remember it. When Liang Jinxiao heard this, he hurriedly waved his hand and said, "No need, no need. Big brother, there's no need to go through the trouble of making a trip here. You don't have to send us. You don't have to send us. Eldest sister, how can we accept this? Ping Er's marriage is a big deal. As her uncles, we naturally have to take note of it." Liang Jinxiao sighed and said, "Big brother, second brother, it's not that I'm being courteous, but there's really no need for it. If you want to send more money over, you can buy more meat for yourselves and the children at home to nourish their bodies. It's enough that you're sincere. Our family isn't that short of money now." Seeing that Liang Jinxiao had rejected them, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were embarrassed to say anything more. After all, they didn't give them money previously. Now that they suddenly gave them money, they felt a little embarrassed. Their eldest sister had rejected them like this again. Hence, they smiled awkwardly and said, "All right then, eldest sister, don't blame us then." Liang Jinxiao pursed his lips and said, "How can that be? Big brother, second brother, our family doesn't rely on that little bit of money to live. It would be a lie to say that he didn't have any grudges in his heart. Now that his eldest brother and second brother had given him that little bit of money, he felt that it was meaningless. If they were sincere, they would have taken out so much money when they first came over. She didn't want to be so calculative, as long as she knew it in her heart. Anyway, she had no feelings for her family now. Yes, yes, yes. Your family is doing well now. All right, my brother-in-law, didn't you say that your family was going to build a house? The last time you came over, you asked me and your second brother to be bricklayers. When are you going to build a house? Let's come over again. Previously, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei had refused because Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei were afraid that if they really went back and helped their sister-in-law build a house, what would they do if they couldn't afford the wages? His relatives were too embarrassed to ask for money from them. In addition, he felt that since they were relatives, he naturally couldn't treat them unfairly. In short, he had to give them a higher price than the average bricklayer. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao looked at each other when they heard what Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei said. He didn't expect the two of them to bring up this matter at this time. Zhao Wenhua had already contacted the masons needed to build the third room, and the price was basically agreed upon. There were only so many people needed for the bricklayer. If Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei came over, it would not be good. Zhao Wenhua looked a little conflicted and didn't know how to bring it up. Liang Jinxiao was also a little troubled. Big brother, second brother, we've already found the bricklayers in our family. We don't need so many people. Liang Jinxiao meant to refuse, but Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei were a little unwilling. Chapter 784. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei were not willing to give up just like that. If he came over to help, he could get closer to Yang Jinxiao's family. In addition, he could earn some money. Moreover, Zhao Yun'er's food and craftsmanship were much better than his family's. Even if they couldn't earn much money, it was still good to come to Zhao Yun'er's house to eat and drink. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were shameless, and Liang Jinxiao didn't know what to say. Naturally, he didn't want his two brothers to come over. They didn't come when he invited them previously, but now they took the initiative to ask for help. Big brother, second brother, I understand what you're saying, but we've already contacted the other bricklayers. We can't fire them now, right? We're all from the same village, so we have to be honest. Liang Jinshun waved his hand. Big sister, it's fine. We didn't ask you to fire them. Your second brother, and I will only have 2 more people. With 2 more people, your house should be able to be built faster. That's right, big sister. The earlier you build it, the earlier we can get this over with. Your family can also live in a big house earlier, so that you don't have to squeeze your whole family into one room. How can it be more comfortable than living in a big house? Liang Jinwei chimed in from behind. Liang Jinxiao knew what his brothers said made sense. The sooner the house was built, the sooner the family could move out. It was better than living with old Zhao's family. Yun'er's father. Liang Jinxiao's gaze fell on Zhao Wenhua, seeking Zhao Wenhua's opinion. Zhao Wenhua thought about it and nodded. After all, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei were Zhao Yun'er's uncles. It would be embarrassing to reject them like this. Yun'er's uncles, then the salary. Zhao Wenhua was more worried about the salary. He was afraid that they would raise it too high and their family couldn't afford it. Also, if the other bricklayers knew that the salary was different for the same job, they would definitely have opinions. The salary is easy. It's the same as the other bricklayers, Liang Jinshun said. This way, he would not be at a disadvantage and would be able to get Zhao Wenhua to agree. If it was according to what he said before, he was afraid that Zhao Yunlong would refuse. Zhao Wenhua sighed and said, Okay, Yun'er's eldest uncle and second uncle. I'll let you know when the house is built. Good. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei were overjoyed. When Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng left the courtyard, they saw Zhao Tianan. He paced back and forth in the courtyard, but did not go in. Suddenly, she saw Zhao Yun'er come out. She looked at Zhao Yun'er with a guilty conscience. Zhao Yun'er looked at her younger brother. It seemed that he had been standing outside for a long time. Thinking about it, she knew why. Zhao Tianan probably remembered what she said before. so he didn't come back for dinner. She sighed in her heart and asked, Tianan, have you eaten? Zhao Tianan shook his head and was very honest. Ma Xiaofeng didn't ask you to stay for dinner? Zhao Yun'er continued to ask with a hint of sarcasm in her tone. Zhao Tianan's face turned red, and he stuttered as he explained, Second sister, I don't eat well at Xiaofeng's house. People will gossip. Then why don't you run to her house every day? Aren't you afraid that people will gossip? Zhao Yun'er asked in return. Second sister, this is different. How is it different? It's okay to send gifts. There's no need to avoid it. Why is there a problem after eating a meal? Chapter 785. Zhao Yun'er thought it was funny, but she also felt a little sad. Seeing Zhao Tianan blushing and not knowing how to explain himself, Zhao Yun'er sighed and said, Since you haven't eaten, you should go back. There's still some dishes left. Let Mom heat them up for you. Zhao Tianan answered in a cowardly manner. We'll go back first, Zhao Yun'er said, and the two of them continued to walk while holding Daodu's hand. Daodu walked in the middle, holding Zhao Yun'er's hand in one hand and Mu Lianfeng's hand in the other. He swung them back and forth, looking very happy. Seeing the happy smile on Daodu's small face, Zhao Yun'er's mouth also slightly evoked a smile. This feeling was really good. However, in contrast to Daodu's happy expression, Mu Lianfeng was. He still looked a little unhappy. This guy. He didn't say anything even though something happened. How would she know the reason if he didn't say anything? After returning home, Daodu began to feel sleepy after eating and drinking to his heart's content. He fell into Zhao Yun'er's arms and fell into a deep sleep not long after. Zhao Yun'er carried Daodu to bed, then covered him with a blanket and let him sleep for a while. After waiting for Daodu to fall asleep, Zhao Yun'er sat on the stool, propped up her chin, and asked Mu Lianfeng, Can you tell me why you're unhappy? Mu Lianfeng glanced at Zhao Yun'er, then suddenly waved at Zhao Yun'er. Come here. Huh? Zhao Yun'er looked confused. Sit on my lap first, then I'll tell you. Mu Lianfeng said very proudly. Zhao Yun'er hesitated for a moment, feeling like a lamb in a tiger's mouth, but she still followed Mu Lianfeng's instructions and sat on Mu Lianfeng's lap. As soon as she sat down, Zhao Yun'er was hugged tightly by Mu Lianfeng. Without any warning, Mu Lianfeng suddenly leaned forward and kissed Zhao Yun'er's little mouth. Zhao Yun'er let out a muffled sound. This guy suddenly kissed her? This time, Mu Lianfeng didn't touch Zhao Yun'er lightly, but tyrannically, he invaded Zhao Yun'er's mouth, as if he wanted to swallow her into his stomach. Zhao Yun'er couldn't break free at all and could only passively accept it. His kiss had a hint of a wolf's nature. Zhao Yun'er was shocked, but she was also puzzled. How could it be like this? After a long time, Zhao Yun'er felt that her lips were a little red from being bitten. Only then did Mu Lianfeng let her go. Regaining her freedom, Zhao Yun'er took a few deep breaths of fresh air. If Mu Lianfeng didn't let go of her, she would probably suffocate to death. Mu Lianfeng gazed at Zhao Yun'er affectionately, which made Zhao Yun'er a little flustered. Can you tell me the reason now? Zhao Yun'er asked. I'm jealous. Mu Lianfeng's lips opened slightly and spat out these two words. Zhao Yun'er was slightly stunned. Jealous. She was wondering why Mu Lianfeng's vinegar smell was so strong. He was really jealous. But who was he jealous of? Mu Lianfeng responded. So, how are you going to make it up to me? No. Zhao Yun'er still didn't understand. Why are you jealous? What did I do? Mu Lianfeng shook his head. Yun'er, you didn't do anything. It's just that there are too many flowers and plants around you. Zhao Yun'er finally understood what Mu Lianfeng meant. Chapter 786. Thinking of Yili, Zhao Yun'er suddenly remembered that Mu Lianfeng's abnormality started when Zhao Ping'er called Mu Lianfeng out for breakfast. That be *TCH must have said something to Mu Lianfeng again. Zhao Ping'er. That be *TCH. I'll teach her a lesson later. No, I only have one or two. I don't even like them. Why are you jealous? Zhao Yun'er asked with a smile. I don't like it when they stare at you. Mu Lianfeng answered honestly. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but laugh. Who doesn't show off to others? Aren't there more women staring at you when you walk on the street? Based on what you said, wouldn't I be even more jealous? Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er's smiling face and didn't know how to answer. Do you not like it when they stare at me? Or are you afraid that I'll be snatched away? Zhao Yun'er asked jokingly. Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment and didn't answer. Zhao Yun'er chuckled and said, Mu Lianfeng, I'm not stupid. I'm afraid it's hard to find a man more outstanding than you in this world, right? Do you think other men can attract me so easily? Are you that unconfident in yourself? Mu Lianfeng felt a lot more at ease after Zhao Yun'er said that. Zhao Yun'er was right. It was hard to find a man more outstanding than him in this world. So far, Mu Lianfeng had only acknowledged one person in his heart. However, that person's status was too high. He definitely wasn't interested in Zhao Yun'er. Mu Lianfeng put down the worry in his heart and said, Yun'er, take me with you when you go to sell breakfast tomorrow. I'll go and help me. Zhao Yun'er coughed upon hearing Mu Lianfeng's words. You, what are you going to do? You're a young master. Don't tell me you have to serve others. One day is enough. I'll help out for a day and see how your stall is doing. I want to know how busy and tired you are every day. Seeing Mu Lianfeng's insistence, Zhao Yun'er nodded. Okay then, let's go together tomorrow. Yes. Mu Lianfeng responded, and his expression eased a lot. Zhao Yun'er asked Mu Lianfeng to continue resting. His body hadn't recovered yet. Mu Lianfeng, on the other hand, went to bed obediently. In the afternoon, Mulan rushed over. Yun'er, seeing that Mulan's face was red and she couldn't stop panting, Zhao Yun'er said, Sister-in-law Mulan, don't be anxious. You can talk about it slowly. Mulan stopped in her tracks and heaved a sigh of relief. She said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, I might not be able to help at the stall tomorrow. What's wrong? Sister-in-law Mulan. Mulan sighed. Yun'er, something happened at my maternal home. I have to rush back. I still have to deal with things there tomorrow. You won't have time to help at the stall. Looking at Mulan's expression, it was obvious that something big had happened. Zhao Yun'er comforted her. It's okay. Sister-in-law Mulan, you should deal with your own matters first. My mother and I can handle the stall. Mulan sighed, looking a little apologetic. But this sudden incident wasn't what she had expected. Then Yun'er, I'll have to trouble you for the next 2 days. Zhao Yun'er shook her head. It's okay. Sister-in-law, you don't have to worry about the stall. Haven't you and my mother been busy while I was gone? Okay, I'll deal with it as soon as possible. Chapter 787. Mulan was touched. Yun'er, you're so nice. What kind of courteous words are you saying? Is there a need to be so courteous with our relationship? There's no need to be courteous. We're different from normal people. Yeah, Sister Mulan, you should go back first. It's more important to take care of business. Yes. Mulan nodded heavily and hurriedly ran back. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but worry as she watched Mulan run away. It wasn't easy for Mulan's life to get better. She couldn't let anything happen to her again. Zhao Yun'er frowned and turned to go back into the house. She thought about how Mu Lianfeng had suddenly offered to help out at the stall. Now that they were short of one person, he could make up the numbers. The next morning, Zhao Yun woke Mu Lianfeng up and they all rushed to Yang City. Zhao Ping couldn't help but feel proud when she saw Mu Lianfeng actually making a move. Mu Lianfeng must have listened to her. When they reached Yang City, they would be able to see Yi Li. Naturally, he would believe her. Thinking about how Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng might fall out, Zhao Ping was secretly happy. On the way, Liang Jinxiao told Zhao Ling about Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei coming over to help him build a house. Zhao Yun'er was silent for a moment. She had never seen someone so thick-skinned. However, her parents had agreed to it again. Mother, if that's the case, then forget it. It's better for us to finish building the house as soon as possible. Liang Jinxiao nodded. That's right. That's what Mother thinks. With a big house, it'll be easier for Tianan to get a wife. Yes, that's right. It's better for Tianan to start a family early. That way, he wouldn't have to think about that Ma Xiaofeng every day. These 2 days, I will discuss with your Uncle Yukai to let their niece meet our Tianan. Perhaps the two children will like each other. Okay, mother, then you arrange it. Zhao Yun agreed very much. In fact, it was not that there were no good girls, but Zhao Tianan had too little contact with them. Zhao Tianan wouldn't just talk about how good Ma Xiaofeng was after he got to know a few more people. Soon, they arrived at Yang City. Zhao Yun'er's family stall was bustling with activity. Zhao Yun'er briefly explained to Mu Lianfeng how to do it. Mu Lianfeng got the hang of it very quickly and did not do any worse than them. When they first set up the stall, Yili hadn't arrived yet, so the two men didn't bump into each other. However, Mu Lianfeng's handsome face attracted many young women. Why is this man so good-looking? Yes, he's so good-looking. Such a good-looking man is actually here to sell breakfast? Look at his clothes and aura. He doesn't look like an ordinary person. He's so good-looking. I also think that this man's status is not ordinary. But why is he here to sell breakfast? I don't know. This stall is so strange. Why are there so many good-looking men here? That's right. I've seen the most good-looking man in Yang City at this stall. Aya, why are you still talking so much? Let's go buy breakfast from him. Let's take a closer look and see how good-looking he is. Okay. Let's go take a look. Thus, several women scrambled to go over to him. Chapter 788. Seeing these women rushing towards Mu Lianfeng, Zhao Yun shook her head. It was really an era where one's looks mattered. Mu Lianfeng was good-looking and well-liked. Even if he sold breakfast, it would be better than the average person. Thinking about it, even if Mu Lianfeng left the Shitzi estate in the future, with his looks, he would definitely be able to make a living. Mu Lianfeng looked at the women in front of him, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch a few times. Originally, he came over to take a look at Zhao Yun'er's peach blossoms. He didn't expect that he would be contaminated by peach blossoms. These women were fighting to be the first to stand, staring at him as if they wanted to swallow him up. Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but frown. In fact, when it came to women, other than Zhao Yun'er, Mu Lianfeng wasn't interested in any of them. He even hated it when women got close to him. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er with hidden bitterness. Zhao Yun'er shrugged her shoulders, indicating that she was helpless and couldn't do anything. These peach blossoms were attracted by him. It had nothing to do with her. Zhao Yun'er knew the fighting power of these women. Even if she wanted to come forward and save Mu Lianfeng, it wouldn't be an easy task. Mu Lianfeng, take it slow. You will only get busier. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but tease him. Mu Lianfeng's frown deepened, faintly a little worried. Wasn't he courting death? Running over here for no reason, great. Now he was being watched by these women, as if he was a gorilla. Mu Lianfeng felt that he wasn't having a good time as the hot gazes fell on him. Unfortunately, he couldn't make them not look at him. Mu Lianfeng sighed. Forget it. If he came over, he would be busy alone. Zhao Yun would be able to relax a little. Young master, I want a vegetable bun, a shumai, and 10 fried dumplings. The woman walked in front of Mu Lianfeng and said coquettishly. A trace of disgust emerged in Mu Lianfeng's heart. She was a guest, but he had to restrain his temper and follow the woman's instructions. He wrapped the food in butter paper and handed it over. All right, here you are. 10 copper coins in total. All right. The woman handed over the money and touched Mu Lianfeng's hand. The other women behind them hissed. How could they take advantage of her like this? Well then, they should also learn from him. Zhao Yun'er watched from the side and scolded these people in her heart for being shameless. This was too much. This group of women didn't know how to be reserved. At this time, a very fat woman dressed in luxurious clothes walked over. She said to Mu Lianfeng, Gongzi is such a handsome and extraordinary man. How much money can he make by selling breakfast? How about this, Gongzi, follow me. I'll make sure you eat well and drink spicy food. I'll even give you a salary every month. How about it? The fat woman smiled wretchedly. Her smile was very ambiguous. These words meant that she was keeping Mu Lianfeng as a sugar baby. Zhao Yun'er was drinking soy milk. She couldn't hold it in and spat out all the soy milk from her mouth. Was this still an ancient person? Were the women of this era so open? After Mu Yinfeng heard this, his expression changed slightly and his body emitted a cold aura. He glanced at the fat woman and said to her, "Auntie, please conduct yourself with dignity." The fat woman saw that Mu Yinfeng actually called her auntie. Was she that old? This gigolo was too much. He didn't know how to appreciate favors. Following behind her was naturally more comfortable than setting up a stall here. Chapter 789. He's so fat and ugly, but he still dares to come out. Haha, if I were him, I would be too embarrassed to say it out loud. Exactly. He must be blind to be with such an ugly woman. Does he think he can do whatever he wants because he's rich? Why doesn't he take a look at his own face? If he goes out with this face, he'll scare people to death. I'm not saying that this child has a backbone. If I were the same, I would probably vomit and lose my appetite in front of such a face all day long. No matter how many fragrant and spicy dishes are given, I won't be able to eat them in front of such a face. That's right. Thinking of such an ugly face, I feel disgusted. It's really painful to look at. This child is so handsome. How can he compromise for a little bit of money? Listening to these people talking one after another, the fat woman's face and ears turned red. Zhao Yun couldn't help laughing out loud. It was really interesting. Thinking about it, the fat woman was really bold. If she knew that she was talking to the child, she would probably be scared out of her wits. The fat woman's face and ears turned red because of these women's words. She glared at them angrily. What are you talking about? Believe it or not, I'll tear your mouths apart if you say one more word. The fat woman was ugly, but she was very fierce when she shouted. It looked very scary. However, the other women were not to be trifled with either. The fat woman's roar caused even more commotion. What kind of person is she? Why don't she tell us? She's always like that. Don't you dare to admit it? Haha, exactly. What kind of person is she? It's disgusting just looking at her. She said she'll tear our mouths apart. Does she really think that we're afraid? Haha, who's afraid? There's so many of us. Do you think we're afraid of her? Let's fight. Let her see how powerful we are. Does she think that we're easy to bully? The women rolled up their sleeves one by one and got ready to fight. Although the fat woman was fierce, no matter how powerful she was, she couldn't fight against so many women at the same time. His brows were knitted together, and his face was full of resentment. He cursed these people in his heart. She had money, so what if she was happy to do it? All these years, because she was rich, she had many men. So what if she was ugly? If she gave him money, there would be countless men rushing over, and there was no lack of good-looking ones among them. The reason why she came forward this time was because she felt that Mu Yinfeng was too good-looking, so she came over to ask. It would be better if this man submitted to her, but if he didn't, then forget it. She had only asked a question. She didn't expect these be asterisk cheese to talk about her like that. It was too much. So what if I'm ugly? I've slept with a lot more men than you guys. The fat woman shouted angrily. TSK, TSK, TSK. She was still so proud of this. Other women slept with many men, so why didn't she come out and show off? Ah, that's right. How can there be such a person? We won't sleep with other men. Isn't it enough to have our own man? Only ugly women are like this. They can't get married. If a man finds out that she's sleeping with someone else, he'll break her legs. Such an ugly woman will definitely not be able to get married. No one would want a man. Haha. Chapter 790. All of a sudden, Zhao Yun's stall was bustling with noise and excitement. Those women gathered together and blocked the other customers' way. Zhao Yun wanted to intervene when she saw those women quarreling and blocking her business. However, she knew that if she said anything, those crazy women would definitely attack her. She was so tired. When women went crazy, they were so scary. They would bite anyone they saw. Of course, Mu Yinfeng played a big role in the chaos in front of her stall. Mu Yinfeng seemed to realize that his arrival had brought trouble to Zhao Yun. If he came today, he definitely wouldn't come tomorrow. If he came every day, Zhao Yun's business would be closed. Mu Yinfeng's eyes were filled with disgust as he looked at the women who were arguing until their faces were red. If you want to quarrel, Go somewhere else. I need to do business here. Mu Yinfeng couldn't stand it anymore and said to those women. His voice was a little cold. The women heard it and were scared to shut their mouths at once. Fat woman, since you've already bought, you should leave now. The rest of us still need to buy. There are still so many people waiting behind us. We still want to buy what you don't want. Go, go. The fat woman was urged and walked away. The rest of the women squeezed forward one by one and continued to line up in front of Mu Yinfeng to buy things. Although Mu Yinfeng didn't like those women who squeezed in front of him, at least they stopped quarreling now and could continue to do business. Mu Yinfeng was sadly touched by those women. He was like a tempting prey being stared at by others. He was extremely busy for more than an hour. When it was past 7 p.m., Yili came and greeted Mu Yinfeng face to face. Zhao Ping was waiting to watch a good show. She even coughed to remind Mu Yinfeng. Seeing a handsome man coming over and Zhao Yun sitting down after greeting him, Mu Yinfeng felt that there was danger in the air. Zhao Ping didn't tell him that Yi Li was the man, but Mu Yinfeng recognized him. This man's appearance was even better than he had imagined. Such a handsome man actually stayed in front of Zhao Yun all day long. For him, this man was really a big rival in love. He didn't care about Lu Lei, but this man wasn't an ordinary man in both appearance and temperament. Zhao Yun noticed that Mu Yinfeng's gaze fell on Yi Li. Mu Yinfeng, what's wrong? Mu Yinfeng shook his head and moved his gaze away from Yi Li. He'd better not let this man find out that he had ulterior motives toward Zhao Yun. If he found out, he would teach him a lesson. Well, don't just stand there. There are still people here. Let's get busy. Zhao Yun smiled. Sure. Mu Yinfeng answered absent-mindedly. Seeing Mu Yinfeng like this, Zhao Yun had a rough idea of what was going on. This guy had been strange ever since he saw Yi Li. He must have been jealous yesterday because of Yi Li. Zhao Ping must have said something to Mu Yinfeng to make Mu Yinfeng misunderstand her relationship with Yi Li. Chapter 791. She really had nothing to do with Yi Li. If Mu Yinfeng didn't believe her, there was nothing she could do. She didn't have any other way to prove her innocence. Women were scary when they were jealous, but men seemed to be scarier. Zhao Yun glanced at Mu Yinfeng, then looked at Yi Li. Compared to Mu Yinfeng's uneasiness, Yi Li was much calmer. He merely glanced at Mu Yinfeng and sat down to eat breakfast as usual. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Zhao Ping didn't want to see the two men arguing. So she said to Yi Li, some people are so pitiful. See it now? Zhao Yun already has another man, but you still come here every day to protect Zhao Yun. Zhao Ping sighed with pity. You're the only one who's stupid enough to be fooled by Zhao Yun. Do you know what kind of person Zhao Yun is now? Yi Li lowered his head and ate quietly. Zhao Ping deliberately got close to him and whispered in his ear, which made Yi Li frown with disgust. He didn't like to hear anything bad about Zhao Yun, especially those who were trying to sow discord between them. Therefore, he said in a cold voice, "Shut up if you don't want to die." Zhao Ping glared at Yi Li angrily. How can you be like this? I kindly reminded you, but you don't believe me. Zhao Yun is such a slut. The more Zhao Ping thought about it, the angrier she got. She couldn't figure out how Zhao Yun could be so powerful. Even at this point, another man was still protecting her. Yi Li paused for a second and looked at Zhao Ping coldly. Do you want to die? Then I can fulfill your wish. Yi Li then grabbed Zhao Ping's neck with one hand. Zhao Ping suddenly had difficulty breathing. She used the last of her strength to shout in Mu Yinfeng's direction. Lord Air, help! Murder! Zhao Ping's voice attracted the attention of the other people at the stall. Mu Yinfeng turned around and saw Yi Li grabbing Zhao Ping's neck. His eyes were cold and bloodthirsty. Liang Jinxiao said in a hurry, Lord Yi, what are you doing? Can you let Ping go? Looking at Zhao Ping's flushed face, Liang Jinxiao's eyes were full of worry. Yi Li glanced at Zhao Yun, then let go of Zhao Ping. He didn't forget to warn her, if you talk too much, I won't let you go so easily next time. Zhao Ping, who regained her freedom, took a few deep breaths of fresh air. This man was simply too ruthless. How could he treat her like this? She was so angry. After Zhao Ping'er took a few breaths of relief, there was more resentment in her eyes. Zhao Ping'er was naturally unwilling to let this matter go, so she quickly hid behind Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Lord Heir, this is the man. I just talked about him and Yun'er's sister, and he treated me like this. Your Highness, you have to uphold justice for me." Ooh, Zhao Ping'er cried pitifully in front of Mu Lianfeng. She thought that she looked like an apricot flower in the rain, which made people pity her. In fact, she looked very ugly when she cried, even uglier than usual. Just one glance at her made people feel a little nauseous. Chapter 792. Mu Lianfeng retracted his hand from Zhao Ping'er's grip on his sleeve in disgust at Zhao Ping'er's actions. This woman, she's so noisy that it hurts my ears. Mu Lianfeng narrowed his eyes and stared at Yili. It was as though the two men were about to start a war. Mu Lianfeng didn't really want to stand up for Zhao Ping'er. Instead, he was hostile towards Yili from the start. How could he let Yili off so easily if he dared to steal his woman? Yili calmly stood in front of Mu Lianfeng and sized up Mu Lianfeng. This was the first time he had seen Mu Lianfeng at such a close distance. No wonder Zhao Yun'er already had someone she liked. This man was indeed outstanding. Whether it was his looks or his aura, he was much better than the average person. Moreover, he was the current crown prince. Seeing that the two men were about to fight, Zhao Yun'er felt a headache coming on. She needed to coordinate this. Just as she was about to ask the two of them to sit down and have a good talk, Yili spoke in a cold voice. "You want to protect this woman? You want to believe her nonsense?" Mu Lianfeng was slightly taken aback, and his gaze turned sharp for a moment. "Crown Prince, look at him. It's bad enough that he's hooking up with Zhao Yun'er, but he's even treating you like this. He's too much." Zhao Ping'er started to fan the flames behind Mu Lianfeng. When she saw that Mu Lianfeng didn't react, she added, "Crown Prince, this person is here all day. It's because he's in Yang City that you can't see Zhao Yun'er flirting with him every day. When you came over today, Zhao Yun'er didn't talk much. The two of them used to have a lot of fun chatting." When Zhao Yun'er heard Zhao Ping'er's words, she thought that it was indeed Zhao Ping'er who was spouting nonsense in front of Mu Lianfeng. Hence, she said coldly to Zhao Ping'er, "Zhao Ping'er, what nonsense are you spouting? Do you think I won't tear your mouth apart?" The angrier Zhao Yun'er was, the more pleased Zhao Ping'er was. If it were any other day, she would probably be afraid of Zhao Yun'er. But now, she wasn't afraid. After all, Mu Lianfeng was protecting her. "Shitzi, you see, Zhao Yun'er is so anxious and angry because I exposed her. Crown Prince, you have to take a good look at what kind of woman she is." Zhao Yun'er felt that her lungs were about to explode from anger. What kind of grudge did she have with Zhao Ping'er? She thought that she had treated her well, but this slut had harmed her time and time again. Was this how she couldn't bear to see her living well? The more Zhao Yun'er thought about it, the more she felt that she had raised an ingrate. "Zhao Ping'er, I think you just want Crown Prince to be angry with me. Flirting with each other? Do you think I'm like you, eager to get close to a man? Mother and sister-in-law Mulan are at the stall every day. Didn't they see it?" Zhao Yun'er looked at Zhao Ping'er like she was looking at an idiot. "Don't quibble, Crown Prince. Don't believe her. She's stubborn and won't admit it. I saw it all." Zhao Ping'er hid behind Mu Lianfeng and continued to speak. Yili sneered. "This is the first time I've seen an older sister who would harm her younger sister like this. I've seen it for myself. It's not an exaggeration to say that you have a heart of snakes and scorpions. If I were Yun'er, I would never let such a person be by my side." After speaking to Zhao Ping'er, he looked at Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, "If you believe this woman, it means that you don't have much trust in Yun'er. Yun'er is such a good girl. It's not worth entrusting her to you." Chapter 793. Mu Lianfeng's thin lips moved slightly as he said to Yili, "When did I ever say that I didn't believe Yun'er? Then why are you protecting this woman?" Yili chuckled. There was a hint of sarcasm in his laughter. "Protecting her?" Mu Lianfeng raised his brows. "I just want to see what kind of tricks she has up her sleeve." With that, he pushed Zhao Ping'er out of the room. Zhao Ping'er fell heavily to the ground and looked at Mu Yinfeng pitifully. Lord Heir, I'm telling the truth. Zhao Yun'er is entangled with him. Don't be fooled. If you dare to say another word, I can't guarantee that you will still be alive. Mu Yinfeng warned her coldly. Zhao Ping trembled in fear and quickly shut her mouth. Mu Yinfeng didn't believe her. Or rather, he didn't want to believe her. Yili felt that Mu Yinfeng had gone too easy on her. After framing Zhao Yun'er like this, how could he let this woman off just like that? If it were him, he would have directly cut off Zhao Ping'er's tongue. Now he was really doubtful. If such a man stayed by Zhao Yun'er's side, would he really be able to protect Zhao Yun'er and prevent Zhao Yun'er from being taken advantage of? If this man couldn't protect Zhao Yun'er, how could he let Zhao Yun'er go? Mu Yinfeng took a step forward and stood in front of Yili. The two men looked directly at each other. Why are you entangled with Yun'er? Mu Yinfeng asked. A fair and virtuous woman is a good match for a gentleman. Miss Yun'er is a good girl. It's my business that I admire her. I came here every day and only ate breakfast. I didn't do anything to Yun'er, and I don't have any dirty thoughts about her. So, it can't be considered as pestering. To Mu Yinfeng, Yili's words were just excuses. I don't like other men appearing around Yun'er, so I hope you can stay away from Yun'er in the future. Don't wander around her so often. Yili did not give in. I'm just eating some snacks. Who is it that I'm interfering with? What are you afraid of? Are you worried that Yun'er will be snatched away by me? You think you can? Then why don't you dare to let me appear in front of her? It means that you still think that Yun'er will be taken away by me. Ew. Seeing that the battle between the two of them was getting more and more intense, Zhao Yun'er rubbed her temples. Her head was hurting. All of this was caused by Zhao Ping'er. This woman, she would teach her a lesson later. Right now, the most important thing was to settle the matter between Mu Yinfeng and Yili. So she inserted herself between the two of them and said to Mu Yinfeng and Yili, "All right, can the two of you stop arguing?" After Zhao Yun'er yelled at them, the two men immediately quieted down. They did not say anything and just looked at Zhao Yun'er. Mu Yinfeng, there's nothing going on between Yili and I. He came to my breakfast stall just to eat some breakfast. If he really had any ulterior motives, he would have done it long ago. Why would he wait until now? And Yili, you should understand by now that I already have a child and a husband. So there's no possibility between us. You can only be friends to me. Zhao Yun'er said this to Mu Yinfeng to clarify her relationship with Yili. She also said this to reassure Mu Yinfeng that she had chosen and acknowledged him. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, the two men fell silent and did not say anything. Chapter 794. How could he not know that? He had waited for many days for Zhao Yun'er to come to Yang City when it rained, but Zhao Yun'er never came. He knew that Zhao Yun'er would not come when it rained. So he asked around and went to Shuilan village. Then he saw Zhao Yun'er, Dao Du, and Mu Yinfeng. When he found out, he was indeed disheartened. It was not easy for him to have feelings for a woman, but this woman had already started a family. In other words, it was basically impossible between him and Zhao Yun'er. After being disheartened for a few days, he suddenly thought it through. Facing the woman he liked, even if she had a child and a husband, what could he do in the future? She was still her, and that did not stop him from liking her. It was enough for him to be able to take a few more glances at the woman he liked every day. Why did he have to be with her? After thinking it through, Mu Yinfeng continued to come to Zhao Yun'er's stall every day for breakfast. When Mu Yinfeng heard this, the corners of his mouth curved up slightly. When Zhao Yun'er said this, she was naturally telling another man that she was his and that no one could take her away from him. His originally gloomy mood instantly improved. Yun'er, if that's the case, let him eat if he wants to. Our family's business can't be abandoned. We can't just let the money go to waste. Mu Yinfeng finally relented and said to Zhao Yun'er. If he said no, it would seem that he was too petty and did not trust Zhao Yun'er. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er had extinguished the war between the two men with just a few words, Zhao Ping'er was unusually indignant. She bit her lower lip and said to Mu Yinfeng, "Heir presumptive." Before Zhao Ping'er could say anything, Mu Yinfeng looked over coldly. "Shut up." Zhao Ping'er trembled for a moment. She was indignant, but she could only shut her mouth. Yili was speechless. It was good that he was allowed to continue eating breakfast. All right, let's get back to work, Zhao Yun said. Yes. Mu Lianfeng nodded. As he spoke, Mu Lianfeng went to the front of the stall and continued to deal with the women who swarmed over. Yili sat down at the table and started eating. The smoke between the two men was finally extinguished. Zhao Yun'er breathed a sigh of relief. He would definitely not let Mu Lianfeng come here again. Otherwise, something bad would definitely happen. Because of the presence of Mu Lianfeng and Yi Li, the two gorgeous men, Zhao Yun'er's breakfast stall was closed early again. When they went back, Zhao Ping wanted to follow them, but Zhao Yun glared at her. Zhao Ping, you're quite capable. You're actually trying to drive a wedge between me and the Crown Prince. You're the one who won't admit it. I'm just stating the truth. I don't even know myself, but you actually know. You're quite capable. You don't have to come to the stall tomorrow. Zhao Ping, was immediately unhappy. Why should I? Because this stall is mine. Zhao Yun'er, you didn't let me come over because you were afraid that I would see you whispering sweet nothings to another man. Crown Prince, look at Zhao Yun'er. She has a guilty conscience, but you actually believe her nonsense. Zhao Ping anxiously spoke to Mu Lianfeng. She was still unwilling to give up, slandering Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Ping was still unwilling to give up. Mu Lianfeng sneered. His sharp gaze landed on Zhao Ping. His smile was even colder. Are you saying that this crown prince is blind? Chapter 795. Of course, this was only what Mu Lianfeng thought in his heart, but he did not dare to say it out loud. If he said it out loud, he would definitely lose his life. Let's go, mother, Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun said and beckoned them to get on the carriage, but she did not take Zhao Pinger with her. Zhao Yun'er, what are you doing? I want to get on the carriage too. If you want to go back, you can walk back by yourself. My family Xiao Mao is in a bad mood today. I don't want to pull you. Zhao Yun said with a smile. At this time, Father Wu's ox cart had already left. Zhao Ping wanted to go back to the village, so she could only walk back. Zhao Yun, you're too much. Mother. Zhao Ping's pleading eyes fell on Liang Jinxiao, but Liang Jinxiao shook his head and did not want to care about this matter. Ping, girl, if you want to talk about going overboard, it's you who went overboard today. How can you say that to Yin'er? Zhao Ping curled her lips. Mother, you're helping her again. Before Zhao Ping could finish her words, Zhao Yin'er patted Xiao Mao's butt, and Xiao Mao immediately flew out. When Zhao Ping reacted, she could not catch up with it even if she wanted to. Zhao Yin felt that she was too kind to Zhao Ping. She should go back and teach her a lesson. On the way back, Zhao Yun let Mu Lianfeng rest on her shoulder. His body hadn't recovered yet, and after working so hard for the whole morning, he was probably exhausted. Mu Lianfeng leaned on Zhao Yun'er's shoulder and held Zhao Yun'er's hand tightly along the way, as if he let go, Zhao Yun'er would leave him. After a while, they arrived at the village. Zhao Yun'er cooked lunch and cooked a few dishes at noon. In the afternoon, Zhao Wenhua came over to discuss the purchase of materials. He started preparing to build the house. Apart from some of the materials that he needed, he had to prepare the rest. It would not be worth it to buy such things. It would be better to go to the mountains and cut them down himself. Shuilan village was next to a big mountain, and the last thing they lacked was wood. There were even more trees that were decades old in the mountains, and each of them was very thick. The ones he chopped down himself were probably better than the ones he bought. Yin'er, let's find some time tomorrow afternoon to bring the bricks and tiles over. I'll find a few men to cut down some of the wood for the beams at the foot of the mountain. Zhao Yun nodded. All right, father. You can arrange these things. If there's anything you need me to do, just let me know. Zhao Wenhua smiled and said, Actually, it's not a big deal, but I have to let you know before I do it. Zhao Wenhua still preferred Zhao Yun'er's opinion. Now, he felt that he wanted to push the authority to Zhao Yun'er. This woman of his was much more capable than him now. When Mu Lianfeng heard this, he said to Zhao Wenhua, Uncle, if you're going to cut down trees, bring me along. I can help too. How could Zhao Wenhua be willing to trouble Mu Lianfeng with this kind of rough work? He said to Mu Lianfeng, "No need, Lord Heir. We'll do it. How could someone like you go into the mountains to cut down trees?" Mu Lianfeng raised his eyebrows indifferently. "Uncle, do you think it's a good idea for me to do this job?" "No, no, no." Zhao Wenhua hurriedly waved his hand. "Lord Heir, that's not what I meant. This kind of rough work should be done by us countrymen. You shouldn't be doing this kind of work. You should be doing something big that we won't do." Chapter 796. When Zhao Yun saw Mu Lianfeng's expression, she said to Zhao Wenhua, "Father, since he wants to work, let him do it. If he's with me in the future, I can't treat him like a treasure and wait on him. I have to let him learn how to do our family's farm work." Zhao Yun said it casually, as if she was talking about an extremely normal matter. Zhao Wenhua wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. His daughter really treated Mu Lianfeng as an ordinary man. "Yin'er, this isn't a good idea," Zhao Wenhua said with some hesitation. "There's nothing wrong with it, father. You can't spoil him. Although he's the heir in front of others, he's your son-in-law in the future. Do you have to be so polite to your own son-in-law?" Zhao Yun said with a smile. When Zhao Yun said this, Zhao Wenhua felt that it made some sense. Mu Lianfeng also said, "Yes, uncle. You don't have to be polite to me. If you have any work to do, just order me around." Zhao Wenhua's heart was conflicted for a moment, but he still nodded in agreement in the end. "All right then. Heir, I'll call you when we go into the mountains to cut down trees." Okay. After Zhao Yunlong finished talking about this matter, he went back. Zhao Yun finished preparing breakfast and went to the vegetable garden to tidy up. When it was 3 or 4 o'clock, Daodu pulled Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun, "Mother, San mother is back, but they're quarreling. Mother, do you want to go take a look?" "Mulan is back. That's quite fast. But what did Daodu mean by quarreling?" Mulan was quarreling for no reason. Who was she quarreling with? Zhao Yun frowned slightly. She was curious and said to Daodu, "Okay, then Daodu will bring mother over." "Yes, yes." Daodu nodded and held Zhao Yun with his soft little hand. The two of them walked in the direction of Mulan's house. When they arrived at Mulan's courtyard, Zhao Yun finally understood why Daodu said they were quarreling. From afar, she could hear old Madame Zhu talking at the top of her voice. Qi Shi was on the side helping her, but she didn't know what she was talking about. When Zhao Yun went over, she saw Mulan standing in the courtyard. Behind her stood a 16 or 17-year-old girl. She looked very charming and resembled Mulan. Zhao Yun remembered that Mulan mentioned that she had a younger sister who was around this age. The girl behind Mulan now should be Mulan's younger sister, Muhin. However, this was the first time she came to Mulan's house. Mrs. Zhu was so fierce and unfriendly. Muhin seemed a little scared and nervous. She shrank behind Mulan, lowered her head, and didn't dare to speak. Mulan confronted Mrs. Zhu confidently. Zhao Yun got closer and heard what Mrs. Zhu said. "Second daughter-in-law, it's not that I want to criticize you, but you brought your younger sister back. Our courtyard is already so crowded. How can there be so many people living in it?" "That's right. She eats and drinks your food every day. Second daughter-in-law, you have so much money to support an outsider. Why don't you use the money to show filial piety to our mother?" Madame Qi chimed in and mocked. Old Madame Zhu snorted, then continued to mock. "She's so filial. She fawns over others every day and treats others well. How would she know that I'm her mother-in-law?" Chapter 797. Madame Qi continued to mock Mulan as if she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. If Mrs. Zhu and Mulan were to quarrel, she would naturally be happy to see it happen. At the mention of this, Mrs. Zhu became even angrier. She snorted coldly. "I've never seen such an unfilial woman. How did our family marry such a daughter-in-law? We've been so unlucky for half our lives. It's so shameful if this gets out. She doesn't provide for her own daughter-in-law and son." After Mrs. Zhu finished speaking, Madame Qi continued to speak. "Isn't that so? Which family doesn't take good care of their in-laws? Otherwise, how can they be considered a good daughter-in-law? It's fine if second sister-in-law isn't filial to you, but now that she's a member of our family Zhu, she's actually helping to provide for her own family. In the entire village, no, in the entire town, there's no one like her within a few hundred miles. I think she just doesn't think of herself as a family Zhu's daughter-in-law. Mrs. Zhu snorted coldly. For so many years, our family Zhu has raised a traitor for nothing. When Zhao Yun heard Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi's words, she couldn't help but sneer. These two people were really interesting. They echoed each other and scolded Mulan. This Madame Qi was the most interesting. Now, she kept saying that she was filial, but she had never been filial to Mrs. Zhu. She didn't know how she had the nerve to say this. Mrs. Zhu was also a weirdo. She didn't think about how she usually treated Mulan. If she were Mulan, it would be a good thing if she didn't chase Mrs. Zhu away. Filial to her? She would feed her sh*t every day. Mulan lowered his head and suppressed the anger in his heart. In fact, he felt a little guilty. A married woman couldn't help her own family much. Moreover, he had brought his younger sister back. It was fine if she stayed for 2 days, but she would have to stay every day in the future. When the people in the village heard about this, they couldn't help but nag at the back like Mrs. Zhu. But what could he do, other than buying her sister back? She really didn't know what else to do. Mu Hin tugged at Mulan's arm and said to Mulan, "Sis, why don't you send me back?" She saw her elder sister's situation and didn't want Mulan to be in a difficult position. It wasn't worth it for Mulan to be criticized in such a way for her sake. Mulan grabbed Mulan's hand. Xin, how can I let you go back? If you go back, you'll be like a wolf in a tiger's den. I can't just watch you jump into a sea of fire. This time, Mulan returned to her parents' home because her cheap mother had died. All these years, after marrying her father, her mother had been suffering all day. Not only did she have to work tirelessly at her husband's house every day, but she was also disliked. It was mainly because her mother only gave birth to 2 girls, her and her younger sister. Because she didn't give birth to a boy, her husband's family felt that their bloodline had been cut off because of her father's family. They were always picky with her mother and even scolded her mother for being a hen that couldn't lay eggs. Just like that, her mother lived in her husband's house for more than 20 years. She didn't eat well during her work and her health deteriorated. This time, she accidentally caught a cold and was called to the embassy. In the end, her body couldn't take it anymore and her illness worsened. In the end, she died. Of course, Mulan didn't know all this, because after marrying into the family Zhu, her life wasn't easy and she didn't have time to visit her parents' home often. Chapter 798. Knowing that her mother had passed away, her maternal family brought the news over, and she rushed back to her maternal family. Of course, Mu Hin was the one who told her the details of her mother's illness. She was not at her maternal family's house, but Mu Hin was. After hearing about her mother's suffering, Mulan was furious. If she knew that her mother was in such a situation, she would definitely bring her mother here and take good care of her. Her mother would not have passed away at such a young age, at the age of 40. This was not the most important thing. The most infuriating thing was that when her mother had just been buried, her grandmother was too inhumane. She actually said that she wanted to sell her younger sister, Mu Hin, to an old widower in the village for 20 taels of silver. On the surface, she meant that she would marry over, and the 20 taels of silver would be the wedding gift. However, Mulan knew that she was selling her younger sister. In this day and age, people would gossip if they sold their daughters. That was why her grandmother found such an excuse. Mulan had heard about the old widower. He had a wife before, but she was beaten to death by him. He liked to gamble and beat people. He had a bad temper. Now that he was in his 50s, he wanted to marry a wife and have children. How could Mulan let her younger sister fall into such a fire? If Mu Hin really married over, not only would she be ruined, but she might also lose her life in the future. After all, he had beaten one wife to death first. Who knew if he would beat a second wife to death? Of course, after she sold Mu Xan for 20 taels of silver, she could pay for her father's second wife and marry another woman. By then, she might even have a son. It would be good for her father to carry on the family line. Mulan's father was also a good-for-nothing. He felt that Mulan's mother did not give birth to a son for him, which made him feel very embarrassed. Therefore, he did not like his wife. This time, Mulan's grandmother made such an arrangement for him, and he naturally agreed to it. If he could really have a son, it would be even better. After he had a son, no one would laugh at him anymore. Mulan was extremely disappointed in her family. Even a beast would not do such a wicked thing. This time, after returning home, Mulan had a big fight and directly brought Muhin back. Mulan didn't want her younger sister to stay in that kind of family any longer. Naturally, he would not let Muhin suffer. When Mulan brought Muhin back, the Mu family did not agree so easily. In comparison, Mulan had to negotiate and agree. She took out 5 taels of silver, and Muhin could come back with her. 5 taels of silver was only Mulan's father's betrothal gift, so both sides had compromised. However, Mulan had to give the 5 taels of silver to the Mu family within half a month. Otherwise, she would directly take Muhin back and let her marry that old widower. Compared to her younger sister's life, Mulan felt that 5 taels of silver was still acceptable. Although she was unwilling to take out the 5 taels of silver, she knew that if she did not take it out, the Mu family would probably really force her younger sister to marry that old widower. After all, the Mu family was extremely shameless. It was not impossible for them to do such a thing. Naturally, she could not take out the 5 taels of silver. After thinking about it, she could only borrow it from Zhao Yun'er and return it to Zhao Yun'er when the time came. Mulan was in a daze for a moment. She pulled herself out of the memory and then held Muhin's hand tighter. Chapter 799. Mulan knew what Muhin wanted to say, so she comforted Muhin. Xin, don't worry. I'm here. I won't let you live a hard life. She knew how hard life could be. Once she got married, it would be a matter of a lifetime. Since her family was unreliable, as her older sister, she had to help Muhin settle down. Big sister. Muhin looked at Mulan with tears in her eyes. She seemed to be touched by the warmth that Mulan brought to her. Mulan took a deep breath and said to Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi, "Mother, sister-in-law, we've already separated from the family. Even if I raise my sister, it's my business. My man hasn't said a word yet. When did you take turns to interfere? Besides, mother, sister-in-law, when we separated from the family, we agreed that I won't neglect what I should be filial to mother, but I won't give more than what I should. In other words, I won't give more or less than sister-in-law." After Mulan finished speaking, Mrs. Zhu became even angrier, but she didn't know what to say. Even Madame Qi didn't know what to say. Just as Mulan said, she would give what she should and wouldn't give less than what she gave. What reason did she have to criticize her? In addition, if she asked Mulan to give more to Mrs. Zhu, she would definitely say that the first branch was not as filial as the second branch. By then, Mrs. Zhu would definitely be biased towards the second branch. Mrs. Zhu continued to glare at Mulan angrily. "You're really something. Now, my words as your mother-in-law don't have any effect, do they?" Mulan didn't give in at all. She said to Mrs. Zhu calmly, "Mother, you're right. I'll listen to you, but I'll make my own decisions on other matters. You don't have to interfere. Also, my sister is here. She's eating and drinking my food. I'm the one who earns it. So what if I'm happy? It's not like I'm spending the family Zhu's money." Mrs. Zhu was so angry that she couldn't catch her breath. Cough, cough. Madame Qi hurried forward and patted Mrs. Zhu's back twice. She complained to Mulan, "Second sister-in-law, you are really too much. How can you say that? Look, what if our mother gets sick from anger?" Mulan curled her lips coldly and said to Madame Qi, "Sister-in-law, what you're saying sounds like you're very filial. If I remember correctly, you ordered me around for a long time before, even throwing me to wash diapers and whatnot. Speaking of which, I'm still not as filial as you." Mulan emphasized the word filial. Of course, Madame Qi knew that Mulan was mocking her. She couldn't help but blush, and she glared at Mulan. This little bee *TCH was getting more and more eloquent. She didn't know what to say. After hearing Mulan's words, Mrs. Zhu also remembered what happened during that period of time. At that time, her eldest daughter-in-law bullied her very badly. Her son was also protecting his daughter-in-law, so she could only swallow her anger. What else could she do? When she thought of this, Mrs. Zhu angrily pushed Madame Chi's hand away. You're such a hypocrite. If we're talking about being unfilial, then you're the unfilial one. Mrs. Zhu scolded. Mother! Madame Chi looked at Mrs. Zhu with some resentment. Really? It was all Mulan's fault. That be *TCH. Chapter 800. Mrs. Zhu and Madame Chi were stunned by Mulan's ferocious look. They did not dare to criticize Mulan anymore. Zhao Yun watched from the side. She had planned to help Mulan when she could not handle it, but she did not expect that Mulan could handle it by herself. Zhao Yun looked at Mulan with a trace of appreciation in her eyes. Mulan was getting stronger and stronger now. Ordinary people could not bully her easily. However, Zhao Yun liked Mulan's change. If Zhao Yun was not stronger, she could not deal with those weirdos in the family Zhu. After Mrs. Zhu and Madame Chi stopped talking, Mulan asked Mu Hin to rest in the house for a while. During this period, her younger sister had been working hard. Everyone at home was worrying. The Mu family did not care for their daughters and let Mu Hin do a lot of work. Therefore, Mu Hin looked haggard and thin. Looking at her younger sister, Mulan could not help but feel sorry for her. She was at the prime of her life, but she had to go through all this. She sighed in her heart. It would be better in the future. With her by her side, she would take good care of her younger sister and would not let her suffer. Mu Hin nodded obediently and responded. She turned and went into Mulan's house. Looking at Mu Hin's thin figure, Mulan felt sorry for her again. After Mu Hin went in, Zhao Yun walked to Mulan and said to Mulan, Sister-in-law Mulan, you're back so soon? Mulan nodded. There was a trace of sadness between her eyebrows. Zhao Yun sensed that something was wrong with Mulan and asked about the situation. Mulan did not hide anything and told Zhao Yun everything. After hearing this, Zhao Yun could not help but frown. What was going on? She was speechless. She had seen it for herself. She thought about how her cheap father, Zhao Wenhua, was much better than Mulan's father. As for Hua Chunhua, no matter how bad he was, he did not sell his granddaughter. Zhao Yun suddenly thought of a saying, a person is better than a mountain. There was always someone better. There was always someone better. There was always someone even weirder. However, Zhao Yun did not pay much attention to it. After listening to Mulan's words, Zhao Yun comforted her with a few words. She felt that Mulan was really pitiful. Her younger sister was even more so. Yun, let's sit in the room and talk inside. Mulan pulled Zhao Yun and said. Zhao Yun nodded. It was indeed inconvenient to talk in family Zhu's courtyard. Okay. Zhao Yun responded. After entering, Mu Hin was sitting on a stool. When she saw Zhao Yun come in, she did not recognize Zhao Yun However, after Mulan introduced her, Mu Hin politely greeted Zhao Yun Sister Yun Seeing Mu Hin's timid expression, Zhao Yun also felt a trace of pity. Yun I really don't have a choice. I can't watch Xin suffer. I have to give these 5 taels to my maternal family, but I can't take it out in such a short time. Can you lend me 2 taels? During this period of time, Mulan followed Zhao Yun and saved some money. However, the family's expenses were also high. A large portion of it was used to buy things. After all, food was very expensive these days. Their family's food was considered to be quite good. Mulan only had 3 taels. She still needed 2 taels to gather 5 taels. Chapter 801. Mulan was touched. She said to Zhao Yun, thank you. Don't thank me. Your family needs to get through this difficult time first. Mulan nodded heavily. Yes, Yun, I know. Okay, now focus on dealing with the next things. Don't think about anything else. Mulan nodded. There aren't any other problems now. We just have to focus on earning money. As long as we work hard and earn more money, we will definitely be able to live a good life. Zhao Yun felt that Mulan was right. In this era, they would be able to live a good life if they worked hard and earned money. At this moment, Mu-hin said to Mulan, "Sister, I will be a burden to you if I stay here and eat your food. How about this? Can you see where I can do some work? I will find a job." Xin, it's okay. Our family is not like before. It's not so hard. Our life will get better and better. You just rest at home these days. If you feel that you are freeloading, you can help me take care of the children or do some housework. Mulan said this to comfort her sister. She was afraid that she would feel guilty or uncomfortable. "Sister, I will do it even if you don't say this. But if I don't do any work, you will be the only one supporting the family." Mu-hin's little face looked conflicted. Mulan sighed and comforted her. "It's okay. We are sisters, and I don't have to worry about these things. Just rest well." Mu-hin sighed slightly. Finally, she said to Mulan, "But sister, I have to find a job in the future." She could more or less earn some money. When the time came, she could take care of her food and drink. It would be fine as long as she did not burden Mulan. When it came to her sister, she already had a place to stay. Her sister had already given her 5 taels of silver. If she didn't do anything, she would feel guilty. Zhao Yun could understand Mu-hin's mentality. In the end, this little girl was too thin-skinned and didn't want to trouble Mulan, even though she knew that Mulan was her biological sister. Zhao Yun thought for a moment, then said to Mulan, "Sister-in-law Mulan, how about this? Let your younger sister help out at our stall, and I'll pay her 500 copper coins a month. It just so happens that we need people at our stall." Mu-hin's eyes brightened when he heard that Zhao Yun could help and that he would be paid 500 copper coins a month. She asked Zhao Yun, "Sister Yun, is that true?" Zhao Yun nodded, but Mulan frowned and asked, "But Yun, doesn't she have your sister Pinger to help? Is it really necessary to hire so many people?" Mulan was afraid that Zhao Yun would deliberately ask Mu-hin to help out their family. Wouldn't they be giving Mu-hin 500 copper coins for free? Then Zhao Yun would earn less every month. Zhao Yun smiled and comforted her. "Sister-in-law Mulan, I've fired my sister Pinger. She's really talkative. Even if your younger sister doesn't help, I'll probably find another person." Mulan only agreed after hearing Zhao Yun's words. Zhao Pinger was indeed talkative and liked to cause trouble. No wonder Zhao Yun didn't want Zhao Pinger to go over. This was also good. She didn't have to worry about being alone in front of her. Chapter 802. Zhao Yun responded. She did not believe that Mu-hin would not be able to do a good job. After all, Mu-hin had done a lot of work in the Mu family. How could she be worse than Zhao Pinger? As long as she was nimble and did a good job, it would be fine. "Sister, can I really go and help?" Mu-Xian blinked her eyes with a little bit of expectation. "I've already said that you can go." "Of course you can." Mu-Xian's eyes were filled with joy, as if she was very excited. How could she not be happy when there was good news the moment she came over? Her goal now was to work hard together with Mulan and lead a better life. "I'll definitely work hard." Mu-hin suppressed her excitement and said. Zhao Yun, and Mulan chatted for a while before Zhu Eru returned from his work in the fields. He did not know what had happened at home. He did not expect Mulan to return so soon. He was stunned to see the 3 women as soon as he entered the house. Mu-hin hurriedly called out to Zhu Eru timidly, "Brother-in-law." Zhu Eru came back to his senses and smiled at Mu-hin. "Little sister, you're here?" Mu-hin responded bitterly. "Eru." Mulan hesitated for a while and looked at Zhu Eru. She looked as if she had something to say to him. "What's wrong?" Zhu Eru asked gently. "Eru, I have something to discuss with you." "What is it? Just say it. Do you need to think and hesitate to tell me something?" "Eru, XXN might have to stay at our house." Upon hearing Mulan's words, Zhu Eru could not help but be curious about the reason. However, Mulan explained the reason after a while. When he heard what the Mu family had done, Zhu Eru was furious. How could they do this? Therefore, he said to Mulan, "Little sister can't go back like this. Let little sister stay in our house. As long as we have food to eat, she will definitely not be left out." Zhu Eru's words had undoubtedly reassured Mu-hin. Before he came, Muhin was still worried that his brother-in-law would not agree to it. Now, he did not have to worry anymore, especially when Zhu Eru said these words with awe-inspiring righteousness. He couldn't help but feel moved. His sister's wife was so nice. If it were someone else, they probably wouldn't agree. It was her elder sister's fortune to be able to marry such a man. When Zhao Yun heard Zhu Eru's words, the corners of her mouth curled up. The image of Zhu Eru as a tough guy deepened in her heart. Now, there was no need to worry about the arrangement of Mulan. However, there was one thing that was more troublesome. It was that there was only one room in Mulan's house. If Muhin stayed, he could only squeeze in with Mulan's family. The house was already small to begin with. Now that there was one more person, it was very inconvenient. In addition, most importantly, Muhin was not a child. If Mulan and Zhu Eru were doing it at night, it would be fine if the children saw it. After all, the children did not understand this kind of thing. Muhin was already an adult and understood this kind of thing. If Muhin saw it, it would indeed be embarrassing. Zhao Yun knew that Mulan's current condition was not enough to build a house. It seemed that it would take a long time to save up some money. Chapter 803. Sister-in-law Mulan, why don't your family build a house with mine? Zhao Yun said. When Zhao Yun said this, Mulan was slightly stunned. I say, why don't you build a house first? That way, your family can be more convenient. Otherwise, it's too small for a big family to squeeze into a house. Zhao Yun said with a smile. In fact, Mulan was also worried about this problem. Now, she didn't have the money to build a house at all. If she could, she also wanted to build a house earlier, not waiting until now. Seeing Mulan's hesitation, Zhao Yun said, Sister-in-law Mulan, I can help you pay for the money first. I'll deduct it from the money we earn from our stall later. It just so happens that if your family builds a house with mine, you'll definitely save a little money. If my family uses something, your family can also use it. Mulan thought for a moment. She was a little tempted, but she also felt that she owed Zhao Yun too much. Yun, you've helped me enough. If you continue to do this, looking at Mulan's hesitation, Zhao Yun couldn't help but laugh. Okay, sister-in-law Mulan, you don't have to be polite with me. You have to build a house sooner or later. Your house is only so big. Every day, your mother-in-law and sister-in-law will chase after you and talk about this and that. You don't feel annoyed, but I feel uncomfortable every time I come over. Then, okay, Yinner, AI, if it weren't for you, I don't know what I would do. Mulan sighed. Mulan wasn't unaware that her life was so good. Zhao Yun's contribution was too great. Otherwise, she would probably be separated. Now, she wouldn't even have food to eat, let alone build a house. Okay, don't be pretentious with me. I don't like this. It's almost time. I have to go back and cook. Zhao Yun got up and said goodbye. Mulan nodded and responded. She was ready to send Mulan out. Wait, Zhu Eru shouted. Zhao Yun looked back with some doubts. Zhu Eru said, Yun, I caught some loaches from the field. Why don't you take some back? You can eat it at night. Zhu Eru thought that if Zhao Yun helped his family, he naturally should share some good things with Zhao Yun. Otherwise, he would be too heartless. The loach was not bought with money. It was more or less a token of their family's sincerity to serve it as a dish. Loach was indeed a delicacy for Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun did not refuse, but nodded in agreement. Thank you, brother Eru. It's okay. Zhu Eru smiled and went out and gave half of the caught loach to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun carried the small basket and went back. As soon as she left the family Zhu's courtyard, she heard the voice of Mulan's sister-in-law, Madame Qi. She said to Zhu Eru, second brother, you actually brought back so many loaches. Why didn't you give them to me? I can cook them for your eldest brother, mother, and third brother. Madame Qi looked at Zhu Eru's loaches eagerly. She hadn't eaten delicious food for a long time. Although loaches weren't very good things, at least they had some meat flavor. Zhu Eru's mouth twitched. Seeing his sister-in-law's greedy look, he was a little annoyed. Even if their family had a little bit of good food, his sister-in-law would look at it eagerly. Chapter 804. Madam Chi was immediately unhappy. Second brother, you're really too much. Why didn't you give it to me the moment you brought it back? Instead, you gave it to someone else. In the end, you're still biased towards outsiders. You didn't think about me, your eldest brother, and your mother, did you? Madam Chi's sarcastic words made Zhu Eru feel very uncomfortable. If Madam Chi wasn't his sister-in-law, he wouldn't even bother to talk to her. Zhu Eru didn't want to say more, but Madam Chi continued to pursue Zhu Eru as if she was in the right. Second brother, second sister-in-law is biased towards outsiders. She's supporting her family for nothing. You're the same. Simply, why don't you give something to your own family? It's an eye-opener for me. If I didn't know, you and second sister-in-law's brains would be damaged. Zhu Eru really couldn't stand Madam Chi's words and replied, Eldest sister-in-law, have you said that? If you said enough, then shut up. My wife's younger sister came to our family's business. She doesn't eat or drink your food. What right do you have to say that? Also, helped our family and help Lon or earn money. Isn't it right for me to give her some loaches? These things are just a drop in the bucket compared to what she gave us. After Zhu Eru finished speaking, Madam Chi opened her mouth but didn't know what to say to refute. Zhu Eru snorted softly and turned to go into the house. Madam Chi pursed her lips and was a little unwilling. At this time, Zhu Dainyu walked out. Madam Chi said to Zhu Dainyu, look, second brother caught a lot of loaches. If you're free, you can go to the field and catch some loaches. It doesn't cost any money anyway. It's just a little work. I'll cook them for you to eat with wine. Zhu Dainyu glanced at Madam Chi and snorted softly. Forget it. It's troublesome to catch those things, and they get mud all over. Besides, your cooking skills aren't very good. It doesn't taste good. It's better to eat vegetables. When Madam Chi heard Zhu Dainyu casually find an excuse to reject her, she couldn't help but be a little angry. Dainyu, even if you don't want to eat, I want to eat. Second brother has already dried it. Why can't you? Madam Chi said coquettishly. If she was a beautiful woman, it would be fine, but the problem was that Madam Chi was ugly. When she acted coquettishly, it made people feel disgusted. Zhu Dainyu frowned unhappily. You're such a bitch. Don't you feel sorry for your man? Do you think it's easy to catch a loach? Dainyu's so annoying. All you know is to eat every day. No wonder there's so much feces and urine. Zhu Dainyu's eyes revealed a trace of impatience and disdain. Madam Chi quickly shut her mouth. She knew that if she continued to speak, Zhu Dainyu would definitely get angry. She sighed in her heart. If it were another man, he would definitely go to the fields to catch her. But Zhu Dainyu wasn't like this in the past. But now, Madam Chi felt a little stifled when she thought about it. It was just that after she and Zhu Dainyu finished eating feces, Zhu Dainyu's attitude changed a lot. Madam Chi thought in her heart, Zhu Dainyu couldn't have had a change of heart, right? If he hadn't, how could he be like this? Zhu Dainyu turned around and was about to go back in a huff. Suddenly, he saw a girl coming out of the second branch's house. She was thin, but her face was beautiful. However, her thin and weak appearance made people feel pity for her and especially wanted to protect her. Chapter 805. The girl that Zhu Dainyu saw was Mu Hin. After this strange feeling arose in his heart, his gaze could not help but linger on this girl for a while. Mu Hin looked up and realized that Zhu Dainyu's gaze was on her. She glanced at Zhu Dainyu timidly and hurried into the kitchen to help Mulan cook. Elder sister, let me help you, Mu Hin said to Mulan. Now that she was here with her elder sister, she naturally had to lend a hand wherever she could. Her elder sister had to do so much work alone to take care of the whole family. It was already very tiring. Mulan did not refuse and nodded. Yes. Come, let's eat together and have a chat. Yes, okay. Zhu Dainyu heard the girl's clear and melodious voice. Zhu Dainyu's heart fluttered for a moment. This voice was really nice, much nicer than his wife's voice. This girl was good-looking, had a pleasant voice, and looked very gentle and considerate. As long as one was a man, he would probably prefer this type of girl. Zhu Dainyu stroked his chin, and followed her into the kitchen. Second sister-in-law, is this your younger sister? Zhu Dainiu asked with a smile. He did not mean any harm. Mulan nodded and replied, Yes, big brother. Ah, I really couldn't tell. When she came to our house in the past, she was just a little girl. Now she has grown up to be quite beautiful, Zhu Dainiu said with a smile. She could not help but glance at Mu Hin and size up Mu Hin. Mulan responded. This younger sister of hers had come to her house a few years ago. At that time, Erhua had just been born. It had been 6 or 7 years. At that time, her younger sister was indeed a little girl. That's good, that's good. Second sister-in-law, treat her well. Since you're here, you're a guest. Zhu Dainiu greeted him with a smile. Mulan nodded. She felt that Zhu Dainiu's attitude was different from the others in family Zhu. He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. He originally thought that Zhu Dainiu was here to pick a bone, but he didn't expect that to be the case. After Zhu Dainiu finished speaking, he did not leave immediately. Instead, he stayed in the kitchen and glanced at Mu Hin from time to time. Looking at Mu Hin's busy figure, Zhu Dainiu could not help but sigh in his heart. This young, gentle, and diligent girl was so much better than his wife. Mu Hin felt uncomfortable being stared at by Zhu Dainiu, but he couldn't say anything. Mulan noticed that something was wrong with Zhu Dainiu, so she asked Zhu Dainiu, What's wrong, big brother? What are you doing in the kitchen? It's so smoky. You should leave. Since Mulan said that, Zhu Dainiu felt embarrassed to stay any longer. The corners of his mouth twitched. He laughed and said, All right then, I'll go out. You guys do your work. Second sister-in-law, since your younger sister is here, you should treat her well. Got it, big brother, Mulan said. Zhu Dainiu reluctantly withdrew his gaze and pulled himself out of the kitchen. After Zhu Dainiu left, Mu Hin timidly whispered in Mulan's ear, Sister, why do I feel that your big brother is a little strange? Mulan frowned. Is that so? Mu Hin nodded. Yes, I just feel that something is wrong. Why? What's wrong? Chapter 806. This different kind of enthusiasm made her feel a little flustered. Although there was nothing wrong with it, she still felt uncomfortable, especially when Zhu Dainiu looked at him as if he was looking at prey. Mulan comforted her. Xin, isn't it better for big brother to be like this than for me and your mother-in-law? Mu Hin nodded. That's true. Zhu Dainiu looked at her. Although it made her feel uncomfortable, it was much better than Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi's harsh words. All right, Xin, don't think too much. They're just saying it. It doesn't really matter. Stay here with me. When my new house is built, we'll move out. Mu Hin nodded with a hint of anticipation. Mulan sighed and said, But you can't stay at my house forever. You'll have to get married when you're of age. Xin, I'm not chasing you away. If you meet a good man, you can marry him. If not, you can stay here with me. At most, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. Mu Hin nodded. That was what she thought too. She wasn't young anymore. Other people at her age were already married. If she met a good man, there was no harm in marrying him. After all, she didn't want to stay at her sister's house and become a burden to her sister. Okay, sister. If there are any good men, help me keep an eye out for them. I'll listen to you, Mu Hin said. Looking at such an obedient sister, Mulan felt gratified and sad at the same time. She would naturally arrange Mu Hin's marriage well. When the family's life got better, she would try her best to get some dowry from Mu Hin. When the time came, she would be able to let her sister get married in a grand manner. It would definitely not be worse than the Mu families. On the other hand, Zhao Yun went back with the loach and started to prepare dinner. Unfortunately, although the loach was delicious, it was more troublesome to kill. He had to kill all the loaches one by one. Then, his hands would definitely be stained with blood and a fishy smell. When Zhao Yun'er was about to squat down to deal with the loaches, Mu Yinfeng came out of the house and said to Zhao Yun'er, let me do it. I'll help you. Can you do it? Zhao Yun'er looked at Mu Yinfeng suspiciously. It was not that he did not trust Mu Yinfeng, but Mu Yinfeng was good at other jobs, but he had never done this kind of work before, so he might not know how to do it. Mu Yinfeng smiled confidently and said, Yinner, of course I can do it. I've seen your father do it before. Zhao Yinner laughed involuntarily. So you've only seen it before, but you haven't done it yourself. Why are you so confident that you can do it well? Mu Yinfeng smiled and said, Why wouldn't I be confident? Yinner, trust me, I can definitely do it well. Looking at Mu Yinfeng's spirited eyes, Zhao Yun'er was dazed for a moment. This man was so damn handsome when he was so confident, wasn't he? Zhao Yun was dazed for a moment before she reacted. The corners of her mouth curled up into a smile as she said to Mu Yinfeng, All right then, you do it. Mu Yinfeng said as he took the basket and poured out the loaches. He took a knife and cut them one by one. The blood on the loaches splashed onto Mu Yinfeng's body. Ah, Zhao Yun'er exclaimed and quickly said, No, your clothes are stained with blood. It's dirty. Chapter 807. Mu Yinfeng glanced at her and said nonchalantly, It's fine. Zhao Yun'er rolled her eyes and stared at Mu Yinfeng. How can it be fine? Don't you know that the blood is very fishy and difficult to wash off? Yun'er, I don't want these clothes anymore. I'll change it to a new one. Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched and she felt her heart ache. This guy, he was too extravagant. He was simply a prodigal son. His clothes were made of such luxurious material. Zhao Yun estimated that it would cost at least a few dozen taels of silver. Even if it didn't cost that much, it would cost at least a few dozen taels of silver. He actually didn't care about such an expensive item. Of course, someone of Mu Yinfeng's status wouldn't care. After all, he was rich, and the heir presumptive's residence didn't have many good things. A few dozen taels of silver was probably nothing to him. Mu Yinfeng didn't care about it, but to Zhao Yun'er, it was a huge sum. Zhao Yun'er looked at Mu Yinfeng bitterly. Mu Yinfeng's heart tightened, and he said, Mu Yinfeng, if you continue like this, I'm afraid I won't be able to support you. Mu Yinfeng's hands paused, and he said to Zhao Yun, It's fine. I'll support you. What if you leave the heir presumptive's residence? I won't be able to support you like this. Mu Yinfeng's eyes turned, and he pondered for a moment. Finally, he said, If that's the case, Yun'er, I can go out and find work. With my talent and ability, even if I leave the heir presumptive's residence, I'm sure I can get a good job. Don't worry, I can support you in Daodu. I won't be a burden to you. Zhao Yun'er chuckled. Although Mu Yinfeng was a little narcissistic, he had the capital to be narcissistic. Mu Yinfeng had extraordinary abilities and was brimming with talent. In this era, culture people had their own things to do. If he really left the crown prince's residence, he could easily pass the imperial examinations and pass the imperial examinations. You'd better get up. I'll help you rub the blood off your body. I should be able to get it off after washing it off. Zhao Yun'er greeted. Yun'er, let me do it. I don't want to dirty your clothes, Mu Yinfeng insisted. Zhao Yun'er muttered in her heart. How could the tattered clothes on her be more expensive than Mu Yinfeng's clothes? You can come, but you have to cover yourself with something to prevent your clothes from getting dirty again. Mu Yinfeng didn't refuse. He nodded and said, Okay, Yun'er. Okay. Zhao Yun'er went into the room and put on the apron she made on Mu Yinfeng. After Mu Yinfeng put on the apron, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but stare at Mu Yinfeng's body. It looked a little small and was tied to Mu Yinfeng's body. It looked very funny. Mu Yinfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er in confusion and said, Yun'er, what's wrong? Can't I wear it? How could Zhao Yun'er say no? If she said yes, this guy would definitely take off the apron. When that happened, the blood of the loach would splash on his clothes, and the clothes would probably be ruined. Zhao Yun'er was distressed about the money, so she could only nod. It's just a little tight. I'm afraid you'll feel uncomfortable wearing it. Mu Yinfeng smiled and said, It's okay. It's not uncomfortable. That's good. Then hurry up and get rid of the loach. I'll go and cook. Chapter 808. Zhao Yun'er glanced at Mu Yinfeng with mixed feelings. This guy had really found his conscience and treated his subordinates a little better. Actually, Zhao Yun'er felt that Mo Yin could come over to eat every day since he was working so diligently for Mu Yinfeng. She was cooking anyway, so she did not mind cooking a little more. The conditions on the mountain were far too poor. What could they eat if everyone ate together? Mo Yin was also a tall man, so he naturally had a better appetite. Mo Yin had not eaten well in the past few days because he lived on the mountain. His nutrition could not keep up, so he had lost quite a lot of weight. Mu Yinfeng did not care about this. He had only invited Mo Yin over this time because he was poisoned. Mo Yin had accompanied Zhao Yin to get the antidote for him. Otherwise, he definitely would have died already. This meal was a reward for Mo Yin. After all, Mu Yinfeng could not think of anything else to reward Mo Yin with. Gold, silver, and jewels were far too tacky. What Mo Yin needed the most right now was a few good meals. If Mo Yin knew what Mu Yinfeng was thinking, he would definitely feel that his master did not understand him at all. Actually, he did not find gold, silver, and jewels to be tacky at all. Instead, he needed these things very much. After all, he was poor and had not gotten married yet. Once he got married, he would have to spend a large sum of money. Originally, he wanted to show off in front of his master and wait for him to raise his salary. But in the end, you know what's wrong? Mu Yinfeng saw Zhao Yun, who became stunned and thought that Zhao Yun was unhappy. Zhao Yun shook her head. All right, I got it. Don't worry, I'll definitely make a few more dishes. All right. Mu Yinfeng nodded. Before long, Mo Yin saw that it was almost time for dinner, so he came over early. This was because he knew that if he came late, Mu Yinfeng would definitely not call him over, nor would he wait for him to eat with him. By then, he would probably only be eating leftovers. Mu Yinfeng suddenly asked him to eat, and Mo Yin was a little nervous. He knew Mu Yinfeng too well. Mu Yinfeng would never ask him to eat so easily. He didn't know if she had an ulterior motive or if she really felt sorry for him. And Mo Yin did not have the time to think too much about it. She really was hungry. Since Mu Yinfeng had called her over, and Mo Yin happily agreed. At this time, they came over and eagerly looked forward to the meal. He knew about Zhao Yun's culinary skills. The taste was indescribable. It was even more delicious than the food in the restaurant. And Mo Yin could not help but gulp down a few mouthfuls of saliva when she thought about the taste of the food. Only when he arrived before Zhao Yun's home did he discover that Mo Yin was wearing something and was currently killing loaches on the ground. Mo Yin's heart tightened when she saw Mu Yinfeng like this. Is Master crazy? He actually made it look like a woman. No matter how he looked at it, it felt strange. He is the noble heir. How could he be like this? However, Mu Yinfeng acted like nothing had happened. He was extremely calm. Mu Yinfeng sensed someone approaching. He raised his head and met Mo Yin's eyes. Mu Yinfeng raised an eyebrow and asked Mo Yin, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming over? What are you planning to do?" Chapter 809. Master, didn't I just get here? Mo Yin said. Mu Yinfeng snorted softly, which made Mo Yin's hair stand on end. Mo Yin didn't know what Mu Yinfeng meant. Did he not believe what she said? Mo Yin, you lied. Mu Yinfeng said to Mo Yin indifferently as he played with the loach in his hand. Mo Yin felt her heart grow colder. She thought to herself, I'm done for. I'm not lying, right? The problem is that my master won't believe me. If my master interrogated me, I don't even know what to say. Mo Yin didn't say anything and stood to the side nervously. Mu Yinfeng said indifferently, just what was he thinking about? Why was he so lost in thought? Mo Yin, can you tell me? Mo Yin became more and more nervous. She felt like she was about to break out in a cold sweat. She knew that if she didn't give a reasonable explanation and didn't tell Mu Yinfeng the reason, her master would have plenty of ways to torture her. Falling into Mu Yinfeng's hands was definitely a very tragic thing. Mo Yin swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva and finally said, Master, actually, I wasn't thinking about anything else, but Mo Yin hesitated for a moment and didn't dare to say it. But what? Master, if I say it, you have to promise me first that you won't skin me alive. Mu Yinfeng raised the corner of his mouth and said, Say it. Mo Yin hesitated for a while and said timidly, Master, whose clothes are you wearing? You look like a woman. Mo Yin grumbled. Thinking about it, Her master was the dignified heir of a noble clan. Why did he seem more and more like a sissy now? With that, Mu Yinfeng's face immediately turned cold. He suppressed his emotions and asked, "Really?" "Yes, master." "Why don't you take it off? If other people see it, they might laugh at you. Don't ruin your reputation." "Ha!" Mu Yinfeng's cold voice sounded again. Mo Yan's, but clenched in fright. Whenever her master acted like this, it meant that disaster was about to befall someone else. Mo Yin knew that Mu Yinfeng was probably angry. Why was he so tragic? All he did was speak the truth. Did it have to be like this? He had kindly reminded him, but in the end, this was the result. If he had known earlier, he would have just made up a random excuse. After finishing the last loach, Mu Yinfeng looked at Mo Yin coldly. His gaze seemed like he wanted to eat her. Mo Yin felt a cold breath on her neck. She said to Mu Yinfeng nervously, "Mas. Master, you said that you won't skin me alive. You can't go back on your words." The corner of Mu Yinfeng's mouth curled up slightly as he said to Mo Yin, "I will naturally do what I've promised. However, if I don't skin you alive, I have other ways to torture you." After Mu Yinfeng said that, a scheming look flashed through his eyes. Mo Yin was petrified on the spot. How could he do this? Sob, her master was too hateful. Wasn't he shameless in disguise? Chapter 810. Mo Yin looked at Mu Yinfeng nervously. She wanted to know just how Mu Yinfeng was torturing her. After waiting for a while, she realized that Mu Yinfeng was saying leisurely, "Actually, it won't hurt you at all. You just have to wear my clothes and walk a few more rounds on the mountain. That'll be fine." Mo Yin was deeply hurt when she heard that. Her master was just too heartless. He wasn't lying. Her body wouldn't be harmed at all, but what about her mind? That would be very severe. It would be far more painful than her mind. Mo Yin could already imagine that if she walked around the mountain a few more times while wearing the clothes, the miners would laugh at her. Mo Yin's face became bitter when she thought of that. She looked at Mu Yinfeng with some despair and said, "Master, actually, I'm willing to be skinned alive by you. Your punishment is just too severe. I can't bear it. Master, if you want to punish me, can you do it in another way? I really can't do that." Mo Yin frowned and begged. She hoped that Mu Yinfeng would relent if she said it. Unfortunately, Mu Yinfeng had no intention of relenting at all. Instead, he said coldly to Mo Yin, "What? Since when did you start bargaining with me?" Mo Yin knew that she had to do this when she saw her master suddenly become stern. "All right, master," Gu Ning said. Mo Yin swallowed the words she wanted to say in the end. Sigh. She could only sigh at her bad luck. What else could she do? Zhao Yun heard everything Mu Yinfeng said in the kitchen. She sympathized with Mo Yin very much. It seemed like Mu Yinfeng didn't treat anyone well apart from her and Daodu. Even his own subordinates bullied him so badly. Zhao Yun came out of the kitchen and said to Mu Yinfeng, "Is the loach ready?" Only then did Mu Yinfeng shift his attention. He said to Zhao Yun, "It's done. Just wash it with water." "Okay," Zhao Yun said. She went into the kitchen and brought out a lot of water to wash the loach. "Wash your hands with the honey locust to avoid the fishy smell." "Okay." Mu Yinfeng answered obediently. Mo Yin stood to the side and watched. She couldn't help but sigh inside. His master was like a good daughter-in-law in front of Zhao Yun. How could she treat him like this? What is wrong with him? Zhao Yun sensed Mo Yan's aggrieved gaze, so she said to Mo Yin, "We'll have to wait a while for dinner. I'm cooking. Go sit in the room and rest for a while. There's tea inside, so pour some for yourself. It's quite tiring to stand here. You're already working hard enough." After Zhao Yun said that, Mo Yin felt a sliver of warmth in her heart. Her mistress was still the best. She knew how to care for her. She wasn't like her master, who didn't have any humanity. "Okay, mistress." Mo Yin nodded and went into Zhao Yun's room. Before Zhao Yun went in to cook, she told Mu Yinfeng to take off his apron. Come to think of it, she was the one who had harmed Mo Yin. Otherwise, Mo Yin wouldn't have been tortured by Mu Yinfeng. Chapter 811. Although the food he made wasn't some exotic delicacy, it tasted delicious. The dishes were so fragrant that Mo Yin could not help but drool before she tasted them. Zhao Yin told Mo Yin to eat when she saw how envious Mo Yin was. Before Mo Yin died, she had to have a good meal at the very least so that she could die with a full stomach. After the meal, Zhao Yin took out a toothpick and helped Mo Yin and Mu Lianfeng pick their teeth. They had eaten far too much meat, so it was unavoidable for them to get meat on their teeth. It was impossible to remove it by hand. As for the toothpick, Zhao Yin made herself. The villagers did not seem to use them. This was because the villagers were extremely poor in the first place. They only had a few meals of meat each year, so they did not use them at all. Even if they got meat on their teeth, they would not remove it. After Mo Yin received it, she said to Zhao Yin, "Thank you, madam." Zhao Yin shook her head. "You're welcome." Mu Lianfeng took it as well. Just when the two of them were about to pick their teeth, they discovered that Zhao Yin was staring at them. Mu Lianfeng asked curiously, "Yin is there something else you want from us?" Zhao Yin shook her head. "It's actually nothing. I just want to see if you two pretty men look good when you pick your teeth." Mo Yin and Mu Lianfeng became speechless when they heard what Zhao Yin had said. Mo Yin was nervous because Zhao Yin had directly praised her as a pretty man in front of Mu Lianfeng. How could that be? With her master's jealous personality, Mu Lianfeng would probably be extremely displeased when Zhao Yin praised him. Fortunately, Mo Yin was overthinking things this time. Mu Lianfeng had not thought of that. "Yin what's there to look at?" "Of course." "Then forget it. I'll go rinse my mouth." Mu Lianfeng suddenly felt uncomfortable and said to Zhao Yin. Mo Yin added in a hurry, I'll rinse my mouth as well." "Hey, why are you guys like this?" Zhao Yin suddenly felt a little disappointed. "Madam, your way of thinking is a little special. Normal people can't satisfy you." Zhao Yin rolled her eyes and looked at the master and servant. Could it be that her actions had frightened them? Since that was the case, then forget it. Actually, she didn't have that many special hobbies. She was just curious. "Then you guys chat. I'll go wash the dishes." Zhao Yin said. After eating her fill, Mo Yin began to report to Mu Lian. "Master, a lot of iron has been smelted. Can we rush out the first batch of weapons? His Majesty is already urging us. The war could start at any time. We have to hurry." Mu Lianfeng nodded. "I'll leave the matter of the weapons to you. The weapons have to be of good quality. Keep a close eye on them and don't let anything go wrong." When it came to serious matters, the master and servant were much more normal. In particular, Mu Lianfeng did not make things difficult for Mo Yin. "All right, master, I've done what you asked me to do last time. The reason why the Red Jade Mountain Villa attacked you was because of the Prime Minister. Back then, the Prime Minister saved the Villa Lord's life, so the Red Jade Mountain Villa owed him a favor. This time, the Prime Minister asked the Red Jade Mountain Villa to help, so they obviously didn't refuse. Speaking of which, you can't blame the Red Jade Mountain Villa too much." Chapter 8:12. Was he so eager to take his life? Mu Lianfeng did not care about himself. So what if he died? However, Dao and Zhao Yin and Mu Lianfeng did not want the two of them to come to any harm. Fortunately, he had used the excuse of mining to come here. Otherwise, he would have been discovered if he had stayed in Zhao Yun's home for so long. Although Zhao Yun was not in any danger right now, he would be discovered if he continued to stay here. "Arrange for a few hidden guards to protect the madam and the young master," Mu Lianfeng ordered. "Yes, sir." Mo Yin nodded heavily. She had been prepared to make this suggestion to Mu Lianfeng. Mo Yin still felt lingering fear when she thought about what had happened before. What would she do if it happened again? The two of them chatted for a while before Mo Yin left. They went to bed early in the night. After doing so much work every day, Mu Lianfeng felt extremely exhausted. He would doze off very hard at night. However, Mu Lianfeng was unable to sleep because he was busy. Instead, he lit a lamp and began to write and draw under the lamp. Dao lay on the table and accompanied Mu Lianfeng for a while. During this period of time, Dao would learn from Mu Lianfeng whenever he had the time, so he was able to recognize quite a few words. He could even memorize the 1,000-character classic, the 100 surnames, and many poems. Although Dowdu was young, he had an extremely good memory. He only needed to recite a few sentences to remember many things. He was rather similar to Mu Lianfeng in this aspect. Mu Lianfeng felt a sliver of warmth when he saw how smart his son was. The best thing he had ever created in his life was probably Dowdu. If it were not for what happened in the past, there would not have been such a cute little bun. Dowdu seemed to sense that someone was looking at him, so he raised his head and met Mu Lianfeng's gentle eyes. Dowdu raised his head and smiled sweetly at Mu Lianfeng. "Daddy, what's wrong?" "Nothing. Daddy wants to see what you've written." Mu Lianfeng smiled. Dowdu did not hold back when he heard Mu Lianfeng's words. Instead, he took out his work and showed it to Mu Lianfeng. "Daddy, take a look. What do you think of Dowdu's writing?" Mu Lianfeng took a look. Dowdu was only 3 years old. He had not learned how to write, but his writing was extremely neat. From the looks of it, if he were to practice properly, his calligraphy would probably be very good in the future. "Daddy, Mu Lianfeng's twos is daddy, daddy's to twos is daddy's twos to a to the twos." Children naturally wanted to be praised by their parents, and Dowdu was no exception. Mu Lianfeng was not stingy with his praise. He said to Dowdu, "Dowdu is great. You're doing very well." Dowdu grinned happily. Yes. Dowdu will work harder." "Good boy, don't worry. You're still young. You don't have to work so hard. Go to sleep first." Mu Lianfeng noticed that Dowdu was yawning from time to time, so he advised him. Dowdu responded obediently. "Okay, Daddy. Then Daddy needs to sleep early." Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a warm smile. "I know. Daddy will sleep when he's done." "Then Daddy, Dowdu will go to sleep." "Go." Dowdu climbed onto the bed and lay down next to Zhao Yun'er. Not long after, Dowdu fell asleep. Chapter 8:13. He would risk his life to protect these two people, and he would never let them get hurt. Mu Lianfeng looked at Dowdu and Zhao Yun'er's faces, and for a moment, he was a little dazed. He couldn't help but get up and walk to the two of them. He first touched Dowdu's smooth little face, then bent down and gently kissed Zhao Yun'er's face. He originally thought that Zhao Yun'er was asleep, and his movements were very light, so Zhao Yun'er shouldn't have noticed. But before he could move away, Zhao Yun'er suddenly opened her eyes, and the two of them looked at each other. Mu Lianfeng suddenly felt nervous and embarrassed. Zhao Yun'er asked, "Mu Lianfeng, what are you doing?" Mu Lianfeng stuttered, You kissed me when I was sleeping?" Zhao Yun'er asked again, and stared at Mu Lianfeng with her beautiful eyes, with a flirtatious smile on the corner of her mouth. Mu Lianfeng didn't know how to explain it. Zhao Yun made it sound like he was a hypocrite who took advantage of someone's unpreparedness. Mu Lianfeng was frowning and feeling a little embarrassed when he suddenly felt a soft touch on his lips. His heart couldn't help but tremble. Mu Lianfeng was suddenly stunned. Was he dreaming? After the warmth on his lips stayed for a few seconds, Mu Lianfeng met Zhao Yun'er's smiling eyes. "Actually, if you want to kiss me, as a man, you should naturally be open. I'm not saying that you're not allowed. You're acting like you're secretly doing something bad." After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, Mu Lianfeng's cheeks were dyed with an imperceptible blush. Mu Lianfeng felt a ball of fire rising in his heart. Looking at Zhao Yun'er's delicate little face, Mu Lianfeng grabbed Zhao Yun'er's head and tossed and turned on Zhao Yun'er's head. Zhao Yun'er's head went blank for a moment. This guy was really obedient. Was it because her words were too provocative that this guy couldn't control himself and pounced on her like a wolf? Zhao Yun'er couldn't break free and could only passively endure. Fortunately, Dowdu was by her side. It was inconvenient on such a small bed. Otherwise, Zhao Yun'er felt that Mu Lianfeng might go one step further. After a long while, Mu Lianfeng finally let go of Zhao Yun. He pecked Zhao Yun'er's forehead lightly and said to Zhao Yun'er in a gentle tone as if he was coaxing a child, "Yun'er, hurry up and sleep." He knew that Zhao Yun'er did so much work every day and was exhausted. Zhao Yun'er raised her eyebrows and asked, "Mu Lianfeng, aren't you going to sleep?" I still need to wait a while. You go to sleep first. Although Zhao Yun felt a little sorry for Mu Lianfeng, she didn't say much. She knew that he had his own things to do. Zhao Yun obediently went to sleep first, hoping that Mu Lianfeng could finish his work early and rest early. The next morning, Zhao Yun woke up early. When she went to Yang City, Zhao Ping followed her. Zhao Yun frowned unhappily. There was a trace of disgust when she saw Zhao Ping. She said to Zhao Ping in a displeased tone, "What are you doing here? I'm going to shop to help." Zhao Ping raised her chin and said. Zhao Yun frowned and stared at Zhao Ping unhappily. "I said that you don't have to help at the shop. Of course, if you insist on following me, it's fine. You can walk there yourself. Don't sit on my Xiao Mao. Also, I won't pay you." Chapter 8:14. Zhao Yun snorted. "Are you deaf, or do you have a problem with your intelligence? Didn't I make it clear enough yesterday?" Zhao Yun, "You gone too far. Zhao Ping, I've tolerated you for a long time. You'd better not offend me. Otherwise, I won't lend you the dowry after you get married to my mother, so I won't lend it to you either. You won't be able to get married, and you'll become a joke in the village." Zhao said that to scare Zhao Ping. Zhao Yun didn't want to let such a troublemaker stay at home to disgust her. Hearing that, Zhao Ping immediately became obedient. Indeed, this was what Zhao Ping was most afraid of. It wasn't easy for her to find a suitable man to marry. If he didn't work this time, she wouldn't be able to find a man as handsome as the one in Qinyuan next time. Zhao Ping was disappointed at once. She looked at Zhao Yun with sadness in her eyes. Zhao Yun was too much. How could she treat her like this? Seeing that Zhao Ping stopped complaining, Zhao Yun smiled. It seemed that this method worked well on Zhao Ping. Why didn't she think of using this method to scare Zhao Ping before? At this time, Mu Lan and Mu Hin walked over. Zhao Yun called them to get in the car, and they drove leisurely to Yang City. When they arrived at Yang City, the stall was set up. Zhao Yun observed Mu Hin for a while. She was very smart and efficient when working. She was much better than Zhao Ping, who was stupid. Mulan also watched Mu Hin work nervously. If Mu Hin didn't do a good job, he wouldn't be able to keep her. However, when he saw that Mu Xin was working very efficiently, he let out a sigh of relief. Liang Jinxiao was curious about Mu Hin, so he kept asking Mulan. Mulan then told Liang Jinxiao about her younger sister. After hearing what Mulan said, Liang Jinxiao sympathized with Mu Hin. This little girl was good in every way, but she was too pitiful. Precisely because of this, Liang Jinxiao felt pity for Mu Hin. She's a good child. It's good that she's helping out our stall. We just happen to be short of a helper, Liang Jinxiao said. Since Xin is here to help, I'll definitely let her do a good job, Mulan said. Very good. This girl is diligent and clever. She's very good. Haha. Thank you for the compliment, Auntie. This child is not bad. I didn't mean to praise her, Liang Jinxiao said with a smile. Mulan was also very happy that her younger sister was recognized by others. Liang Jinxiao talked to Mulan for a while. If he hadn't talked to Su Yukai, Liang Jinxiao would think that Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin would be a good couple. The two children were about the same age. Mu Hin was so sensible, obedient, diligent, and beautiful. If he married her, it would be his family's blessing. Mulan was a good person. Naturally, this younger sister wouldn't be too bad. Liang Jinxiao planned to introduce Mu Hin to Zhao Tianan if the talk with the Su family didn't work out. As Mulan said, he wanted to introduce Mu Hin to a good family. Although the third branch of the family wasn't very rich, at least after Mu Hin married into the family, they would treat Mu Hin well and wouldn't let Mu Hin suffer. Chapter 8:15. Based on Zhao Tianan's attitude towards Ma Xiaofeng, Liang Jinxiao knew that if they really got married, Zhao Tianan would definitely treat his wife 100% well. Thinking like this, Liang Jinxiao would have to wait and plan for the specifics later. She had already contacted the people from the Su family and arranged for the two children to meet in the next few days. Under normal circumstances, The man and woman would not meet easily. This time, the situation was special. If she did not let Zhao Tianin see and interact with them, Zhao Tianin would definitely object from the beginning. After finishing the matters at the stall, the few of them quickly returned to the village. Today, because Zhao Wenhua asked people to come over to cut trees, Zhao Yin bought some more vegetables from Yang City to bring back. She bought some pig offal, some meat, and some fish. There was still some marinated tiger meat left at home, so she could take it out to entertain them. There was a lot of tiger meat left, but Zhao Yin did not eat much on normal days. It was better to use such precious things to entertain people. There were vegetables in their vegetable garden, so there was no need to buy them. On the way, Mulan and Zhao Yun discussed the matter of building a house. Mulan was not like Zhao Yun-er's family, who wanted to build a big house. Their family planned to build 3 or 4 houses. Even if 3 or 4 houses were to be built with bricks and tiles, they should be able to build a house with more than 10 taels of silver if they were frugal. Thinking about it, if they were to build a new house, their family would naturally be much more comfortable after moving out from family Zhu to live in a new house. Where to build the house? Mulan wanted to build it together with Zhao Yun-er's family. Therefore, this piece of land was chosen together with Zhao Yun. It just so happened that that piece of land was cheap. In the future, it would be more convenient for them to visit Zhao Yun-er when they were neighbors. As for the land that Mulan mentioned, Zhao Yun-er felt that it was a good idea. If Mulan's house was not built together with hers, her house would be left alone at the foot of the mountain. Mulan would go and live with them. Not only would it be more lively, but they could also take care of each other on normal days. If something were to happen, they would at least be able to call for help. When the car arrived at old Zhao's house, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Yun'er got out of the car and found that a carriage was parked in front of old Zhao's yard. It seemed like someone was coming. Zhao Yun'er and Liang Jinxiao were curious. Normally, old Zhao's family didn't come into contact with any big shots. Zhao Yun'er and Liang Jinxiao entered the courtyard and found that old Zhao's family members were surrounding a man and asking questions. This man was wearing dark red clothes and looked very luxurious. When Zhao Yun'er saw this, she felt that this man's clothes were a little flirtatious. For a man to wear this kind of clothes, she felt that something was wrong. This man was about 25 or 26 years old. He had a square face and was not good-looking. His behavior gave people the impression that he was a rich second-generation heir from a good family. Of course, this was only for the people in the countryside. In Yang City, there were more people with such conditions. When this man came over, the most attentive person was Li Chueying. He kept talking in front of him and asked about his well-being, for fear that he would neglect him. Zhao Jing'er, on the other hand, stood to the side with her head lowered, looking shy. Seeing this, Zhao Yun'er guessed. This man was probably the man that matchmaker Gao had found for Zhao Jing'er. He looked so rich. No wonder old Zhao's family members were so enthusiastic. Chapter 816. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but shake her head. In terms of appearance and other things, without considering money, this man really didn't deserve Zhao Jing'er. Anyway, Zhao Jing'er was as pretty as a flower and as beautiful as jade, but this man was not only not good-looking, but also older than Zhao Jing'er by at least 7 years. With such a big age gap, could the two of them really get along? Old Zhao's family and Zhao Yin didn't care about these things. As long as the man was rich and could live a good life, everything was fine. They wouldn't consider anything else at all. Zhao Yun-er carried her things and walked into old Zhao's yard. She didn't hear what they were talking about until she got closer. Zhao Yun'er felt that a mouthful of blood was stuck in her chest, and she almost spat it out. The man's name was Zheng Qian. Zheng Qian said, "Uncle, Aunt, there's something I need to make clear to you. If I marry Jing, she won't be my legal wife, but a concubine." Hearing Zheng Qian's words, old Zhao's family was struck dumb. They didn't know what Zheng Qian meant. Even Zhao Jing'er stared at Zheng Qian in shock. She thought she had married into a good family, but how could she be a concubine? Old Zhao's family wasn't stupid. A concubine was a concubine, and it wouldn't be good for their reputation. Ordinary families didn't like concubines. To put it bluntly, Concubines were just concubines, and they had no status in the family. Hearing Zheng Qian's words, old Zhao's family felt a little uneasy. They didn't know what to say. Li Chueying frowned and stammered. A concubine? Mr. Zheng, why is Jing a concubine? Isn't she the legal wife? This matchmaker gal was really too much. She didn't even explain this clearly and made her happy for nothing. There was a big difference between a legal wife and a concubine. If her daughter really married a concubine, she wouldn't dare to brag to others that Zhao Jing'er had found a good family. If she told others, she would probably be laughed at. Zheng Qian smiled. Aunt, I already have a wife. It's precisely because my wife hasn't had any children that I want to marry a concubine. She can carry on the family line for me. As for the betrothal gifts, don't worry. We'll do it according to the legal wife. We won't mistreat Jing'er. If she can give birth to a fat boy for me after we get married, I'll give you an extra 100 taels of silver. Since Zheng Qian's family, old Zhao's family was rich. Thinking about it, if the gift money was not a problem, and there were so many promises, there was really nothing much to say. It's just that it doesn't have a good reputation. If you don't care about that, it's fine. Old Zhao's family was silent and hesitant. They pulled Zhao Wenshui and Li Chueying aside and said to them, Actually, I don't think it's a big deal. Isn't it just a concubine? If Jing'er marries into your family, her life will be much better than that of an ordinary family. I think she can live a good life. Also, young Master Jing's legal wife is a hen that can't lay eggs. If our Jing'er marries him and can really give birth to a son, the mother's status will rise because of her son. Maybe in the future, she can squeeze out the legal wife. Zhao Wenshui and Li Chueying heard that and nodded. Chapter 817. Mom is right. As long as Jing'er gives birth to a son, she will have a good life in the future. Yes, that's true. If she misses out on Lord Zheng, it will be difficult for Jing'er to find such a good man. But all the villagers are poor. How can Jing'er live a good life? Then let's agree to the marriage and let Jing'er marry Lord Zheng. Will Jing'er agree? What's there to disagree about? We're not harming her. We just want her to live a good life. No matter how much we look forward to it, it won't happen. That's true. Many people can't wait for it. Speaking of which, our Jing'er is quite lucky. All right, let's talk to Lord Zheng about it. Don't think that we won't agree to marry another girl. It's such a good opportunity. If Jing'er doesn't agree, there are plenty of other people who will. Right. After the few of them finished their discussion, they turned around and walked over to Zheng Qian. Just as they were about to tell Zheng Qian that it was fine, Zhao Baoshan jumped out and said very sternly, How can we do that? We country folk will not stoop to the level of being concubines. Lord Zheng, if Jing'er really wants to be a concubine, then forget it. Old Zhao's family can't afford to lose face. After Zhao Baoshan said that, Zhao Wenshui, Li Chueying, and Huo Chunhua all thought that it was over. Now, Zheng Qian would probably be angry and really not agree to this marriage. Huo Chunhua immediately said to Zhao Baoshan, Old man, why do you care so much about it? It's just a matter of reputation. If old Zhao's family doesn't talk about it, no one will know. The most important thing is whether Jing'er can live a good life after marrying into that family. Nowadays, people find a good man for their children because they want them to live a comfortable life in the future. Think about it. If Jing'er marries into that family, she can eat and drink well every day. She will also be taken care of by others. Compared to marrying into an ordinary family, she will have to work tirelessly to serve her in-laws, her husband, and her whole family. Okay? After Huo Chunhua said that, Zhao Baoshan snorted. You only care about these things. How can a concubine be so good? Old man, I say, why are you so stubborn? You only think about fame and reputation. Why do we care about things like face? What's the use of it? Could it be that they could be eaten as food? Don't you think about the children's future? Li Chueying followed Huo Chunhua and echoed, Dad, the most important thing is that Jing'er can live a good life. Father, it's not easy for our Jing'er to marry into such a family. If she wants to be the legal wife, does she need to come all the way to our countryside to find someone? Zhao Baoshan listened to Zhao Wenshui, Li Chueying, and Hua Chunhua talking one after another. His frown deepened. What they said made sense, but in fact it wasn't the case. They just wanted money. They made it sound nice. Zhao Baoshan coldly stared at the three of them. They would do anything for money. However, Zhao Jing, was Zhao Wenshui and Li Chueying's daughter. No matter how unwilling he was, he couldn't oppose it too much. Chapter 8:18. After all, Zhao Jin would be the one getting married in the end. Zhao Jin had the right to decide whether to marry or not. If Zhao Jin said that she was willing to be Zheng Qian's concubine, together with Zhao Wenshui and the other two, he couldn't continue to object. If Zhao Jin didn't agree, it would be better to cancel the marriage. Zhao Jin didn't expect Zhao Baoshan to come over and ask her. Zhao Jing had heard the conversation between her parents and her grandmother. She thought about it and felt that there was nothing wrong with what her parents had said. Compared to marrying a country bumpkin and suffering, she definitely wanted to live a good life. So she lowered her head and said to Zhao Baoshan timidly, "Grandpa, I think it's pretty good." This meant that she agreed. Zhao Baoshan sighed and didn't know what to say. Hua Chunhua was overjoyed and said to Zhao Baoshan, "Old man, look, Jing agreed. What else do you have to say?" Zhao Baoshan snorted and reminded Zhao Jing, you chose this path yourself. Don't regret it." Zhao Jing responded bitterly, "Okay, I know, Grandpa." With Hua Chunhua's matchmaking, Zhao Jin, and Zheng Qian's marriage was settled. Zhao Yun heard these words and felt that her worldview was shattered. These people were really interesting. They actually thought that it was good to be someone else's concubine. To put it bluntly, it was actually sharing a man with another woman. Zhao Yun felt disgusted just thinking about it. In addition, she didn't know if old Zhao's family was crazy. Even Zhao Jin was crazy. Didn't they know that if Zhao Jin married over, she would be worse than a concubine? He wanted her to give birth to a son, but she was just a baby-making machine. If Zhao Jin married over and couldn't give birth to a son, one could imagine how Zhao Jin's life in the Zheng family would be in the future. Rich people knew how to scheme. Of course, old Zhao's family was greedy for money. They only thought about the good side and didn't consider the bad side. Zhao Yun didn't have much feelings for Zhao Jing. Thinking about it this way, Zhao Jing and Li Chueying were similar in terms of being greedy. Zhao Yun naturally couldn't say anything about her choice. Whatever Zhao Jing experienced in the future, that was her business. Everything that she might suffer in the future was her own choice. People had to be responsible for their own decisions. Zhao Yun stopped thinking about old Zhao's family and started to prepare lunch. At noon, she had lunch with her parents and entertained the men who were helping to chop trees in the mountains. When it was time for dinner, old Zhao's family had to prepare the meal. However, there was nothing good in old Zhao's house. He didn't know that Zheng Qian would suddenly come. It wasn't easy for Zheng Qian to come over, and he was from a rich family. Naturally, they couldn't neglect him. Zheng Qian came over this time with a lot of things, but they were all some pastries, candies, longan, and brown sugar. However, he didn't bring anything that could be cooked with meat. So for a while, old Zhao's family couldn't take out anything good to entertain him. It was one thing to have nothing to entertain him, but they couldn't let Zheng Qian leave and not eat at their house. Li Chueying pulled Hua Chunhua to the side and asked Hua Chunhua anxiously, "Mother, what should we do now? What should we entertain young Master Zheng at noon?" Chapter 8:19. In addition, if the reception wasn't good, people would think that old Zhao's family was too shabby and didn't take the Zheng family seriously. Hua Chunhua frowned. She was also worried about this. "Well, we don't have much good food at home. We don't have any meat or fish. We only have some vegetables. Mom, why don't we get some eggs? Can we catch another chicken and kill it? That way, the food will be better." Hua Chunhua nodded. Although she didn't want to do that, she knew that she couldn't be stingy in this aspect. Seeing that Hua Chunhua agreed, Li Chueying happily agreed. He also flattered Hu Chunhua. Mom, let's wait for Lord Zheng to give us the betrothal gifts. Hu Chunhua snorted. If it weren't for Zheng Qian's money, she wouldn't have agreed to kill a chicken to entertain Zheng Qian. She had to pay back the capital she had invested in him in the future, and it would be a bigger return. I'm glad that you know. Mom, we haven't separated from the main family yet. In the future, Lord Zheng's money will be given to you. Sure, Hu Chunhua replied. Li Chueying happily ran up to Zheng Qian and said to him, Young Master Zheng, why don't you have a meal at my house today before you leave? I'll kill a chicken for you at noon. Li Chueying just wanted to tell Zheng Qian that there would be delicious food for him at noon. However, right after Li Chueying said that, the waiter who came with Zheng Qian said, Lord Zheng doesn't eat chicken. After the waiter said that, Li Chueying stiffened and said to Zheng Qian, Oh, Lord Zheng, you don't eat chicken? Li Chueying obviously looked a little disappointed. What should he do now? If Zheng Qian didn't eat chicken, what good food was there to entertain him at home? Zheng Qian smiled and said, Auntie, just prepare some food for me at noon. I'm not particular. Li Chueying answered with a smile. It was true that it wasn't particular, but it couldn't be too shabby. Li Chueying was extremely anxious. He hurriedly pulled Hu Chunhua aside and asked, Mother, what should we do now? Young Master Zheng won't eat chicken. Do we have anything else to offer? Hu Chunhua frowned and said to Li Chueying, Don't you know what we have? Think about it yourself. What kind of food can there be? Hu Chunhua thought for a while. Indeed, there was nothing to eat. Their house was not in town, so they could not buy anything on the spur of the moment. He didn't have it at home, and he couldn't buy it. He had to think of a solution. No matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't think of anything. He could only feel anxious. Seeing Li Chueying like this, Hu Chunhua said to Li Chueying, All right, don't worry. It's useless to be anxious. Saying that, Hu Chunhua rolled her eyes and said to Li Chueying, I saw Yun'er bring meat back. How about this? You can go and talk to Yun'er and ask her to sell the meat to us. We'll pay her the money. Hearing that, Li Chueying's eyes lit up. He felt that Hu Chunhua's words made sense, so he nodded at once. Mother, no problem. I'll go talk to Yun'er right now. Li Chueying's flattery was very effective on Hu Chunhua. Chapter 820. Li Chueying smiled sheepishly and replied, Mother, you're right. I'll definitely do as you say. Take your time. There's no rush. Okay, go ahead and let Yun'er know, said Hu Chunhua. Okay, Mother, I'll go right away. With that, Li Chueying eagerly ran to Zhao Yun'er's room. Actually, Li Chueying didn't think it was enough to just borrow the meat. If she could get Zhao Yun'er to cook a bowl of pig offal and bring it over for Zheng Qian to eat, it would be much more sumptuous to treat Zheng Qian. Although she thought this way, whether Zhao Yun'er would agree or not depended on what Zhao Yun'er said. Zhao Yun'er was preparing to cook in the kitchen when she saw Li Chueying walk over with a solicitous expression. Zhao Yun'er raised her eyebrows and asked Li Chueying, Oh, second aunt, what brings you here? Li Chueying smiled fawningly at Zhao Yun'er's question. Yun'er, I actually want to ask you for a favor. Oh, second aunt actually came to ask me for a favor. Zhao Yun'er looked like she was making a fuss over nothing. Li Chueying knew that she didn't get along with Zhao Yun'er normally and said a lot of bad things to her. At this moment, Zhao Yun was being picky and making things difficult for her. It was understandable. Li Chueying said even more fawningly, Yun, it's second aunt's fault. You're a good girl, so don't be so calculative with second aunt, okay? Zhao Yun'er glanced at Li Chueying with a half-smile. Actually, she couldn't be bothered to argue with her. Second aunt, what's the matter? Just say it. You don't have to beat around the bush. Li Chueying said with a smile. Yun'er, look, Jing-er's future husband is coming to our house today. He is a rich man, so old Zhao's family should treat him well. But we don't have anything good to serve you at home, so we were wondering if you could sell us the pork you bought today. If possible, could you also give us a bowl of your fried pig offal? After Li Chueying finished speaking, he looked at Zhao Yun'er expectantly. Zhao Yun'er sneered. She didn't know where Li Chueying got the nerve to say those words. She usually made things difficult for her, but now she had the nerve to ask for her help. She wasn't stupid, Seeing that Zhao Yun'er didn't say anything, Li Chuiying suddenly became anxious. He said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, please help us with this. Jing'er finally found a good husband, and I really hope she can marry him and live a happy life. Even if you don't want to give second aunt face, you have to think about Jing'er. After all, she is your cousin. Don't you think so?" Zhao Yun'er smiled. "You're right, second aunt. Since that's the case, I'll sell it to you." Li Chuiying was delighted. "Haha, that's great. Yun'er is so generous and sensible." But Zhao Yun'er continued, which made Li Chuiying's heart skip a beat. "What's wrong?" Li Chuiying asked. "But second aunt, I have to treat someone at noon, and I brought it all the way from the town for you. Of course, I have to pay more." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.